right, so we're here.
Hold on, I got something for you.
Yeah.
Red Bull contract.
Joke's on you. It's a Dale's hat.
No shotgun of beer.
This is the Perris Benegas podcast, finally brought to you by Dale's, the #1 beer in BMX. They support us. They support Chris Fox. And it's a wonderful social lubricant. But
it is.
It's the morning, so we're drinking Crandall's coffee.
It is a coffee
the beers
morning.
for the night ones. But thank you, Dale's and Source BMX, the #1 bike shop, the #1 contest, the #1 distro. Also one of your sponsors. And we do say the #1 team in BMX. So
yeah.
Shout out to Source.
Sick team.
Oh, yeah.
Shout out to Source and Dale's, and welcome, Paris.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. It's
Finally.
been a long time coming.
Yeah, we've been begging you.
I told you
podcast.
after the Olympics, after everything, and then now I'm out in San Diego again, so it's easy.
You stuck to your word as soon as possible. Once you're done with the Olympics and when you're back home, pretty much week 1, and you're doing it. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Should we just jump into the Olympic thing and then go from there?
Congratulations on a silver medal, the goddamn Olympics.
You brought it? You assume you carry it with you everywhere?
I keep it in my pocket, everywhere I go.
I asked her to bring it.
Just in
asked
case
her to
people
bring
ask
it.
me for it.
A lot heavier than I thought it would be.
Put it on your neck.
Oh.
And then
Should I?
Feel the weight around your neck.
Feels weird to do that.
Champion.
Stolen valor or something. Stolen. One of those things like
you feel all Paris' hard work.
I don't really deserve this, but thanks. I'll keep this. I'll put it on the wall.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you for the gift, Paris.
It's the gift for the wall.
Imagine we just had
We'll order a fake one off Etsy and
how is it?
Can you do that?
Yeah. Connor Fields actually, he told me to order a fake one, and then if people ask me to bring it, you bring the fake one, and then you leave your real one at home.
But you didn't do that right now.
No.
Okay.
That's the real one.
How has it been? How's the change in life been? Because I know this thing is already you've been doing stuff for like weeks now already, just carrying this around and interviews.
Yeah, I mean, straight away, right after the event, you're pulled. You're doing media that night. The next day is full media tour. Like, it was truly the craziest thing I've ever been a part of. Like, you walk in and there's a piece of paper and it has your name and then just a schedule of what you're doing for that day.
Wow.
So you're
still while you're in Paris.
Oh yeah. The following day, they're just like, you're here and you're doing all of this, which is great because it's all like, it's close. So you're in one building and you kind of knock out a good chunk of that stuff, and then you go to another building and you're like, it's all like walking distance. And yeah, it was pretty full on, but now I'm home and get to kind of digest and like, because it goes from so crazy to just boom, done. Everything that you've been working for, all of that comes to an end, and then you're kind of like, okay, well now what? Like,
aren't there people still like, but you still had to go to Supercross, something that is awesome, but you're not into it at all. You don't even watch Supercross. And
I'm a fan now.
Yeah.
After that, I'm like, holy crap, this is, so I got presented that opportunity to just go, and I don't know, cool things happen. Like with this attached to your name now, like for me, I'm just soaking all of that in. Like and it's bigger than me. Like, this is BMX. Like, I get to go and talk to people in different worlds about BMX now, and they get to learn about it, which has been the coolest thing for me. Is like, it's bigger than me. How do I now put BMX out into the world and like talk to different people about it?
Is great representation.
How many days was it in Paris of that? Just
2. So you go from finals, and then you're like pretty much pulled, like drug testing, a media thing. Go back to the village, and then I had like an hour and a half to get showered, redone. Just go.
Put your face on.
Oh yeah, go. Get all the sweatiness out, and then you're at the Team USA house, and I was there until, we closed it down. They were like, okay, you guys need to leave, because that's where I got to hang out with my family. Like, my friends were there. Like, we all got to just hang out together, and that was like the first time that like we were able to be under the same roof, and then the pressure of the Olympics, everything was off. So it's just, you just enjoy this time with them. And that was straight away. And then
let's talk about the weeks like leading into the Olympics. So you guys had you had the qualifiers, and you were essentially in even at the qualifiers, right?
Yeah. So, well, not guaranteed. There you had to place top 5 at each event, and then if you placed top 5 is when you got to solidify your individual spot. So I got 5th, I think, in China, and that was my first event back. Like,
from the ACL.
Started riding a couple months, gosh, I started pumping around with you. Well, you were hurt actually when I moved here, and then we pumped
that's
around
like the real beginning of the
rode.
story. Is she was already doing the Olympics, working on integration, and the injury. Mm-hmm. And then that injury happened. Me and Colin, when we found out what really happened to you, you can tell the whole story, but me and Colin's perception of it was just, well, we just fucked over Perris's Olympic thing.
Oh, I don't know this at all.
That's a good lead into the whole thing.
Yeah.
Okay, rewind even more then. So,
Well, we were filming for integration, and then it was...
literally like the last day.
It was the last day.
Last clip.
Yep, last day.
Oh, no, you had one more clip after, so...
Yeah.
Last evening.
This was just to go fill time, really, to go, because I wanted to go back and do that ledge ride, but there was a truck parked there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
so
you had a banger in mind.
Yeah, so we were kind of just, we'll go here and film this, get this out of the way real quick. And then it did not happen that way. So
you really didn't even want to do it.
I didn't want to do it, no. But
she was just kind of like making herself to like get something done.
But I felt bad because we had driven 45 minutes to
stuck in traffic.
Yeah, sit in traffic. So I was like, there's no way that I'm going to leave here without doing it. Like we just drove so long to come here. And
next time, 45 minutes isn't that long.
No, in watching it, I knew because it was a gap that was already sick, but she really wanted to trick it, like get a nice toboggan on it, and you could just tell like this isn't right for how she does a nice toboggan. If she did it would have to be fast, like
to be so rushed,
and she was angry, like just like God, why am I not doing it? And I'm just like because it's not right.
The run up to like I had to pedal, like I started in a parking lot, and then you had to pedal through like rocks, and then you get to dirt, and then it's like a bunch of tree roots. So then we put like a piece of like the covering, like a metal plate on, like so that I could just pull my wheel up, and I pulled up too much and just looped, and then went to go like run out and just felt my whole like because my body twisted, and I could just feel everything in my knee just rip. Like I literally felt it. I heard the pop, and I was like. The first thing I said was my knee, and then the Olympics like went through my head. So right then and there, I was like, okay, the Olympics is something I want to do. I really wanted it because I was kind of in like I love filming. I like the Olympics. Like it was just like a weird time for me because it's hard like with I don't know. I kind of lost the love for riding my bike during the whole Olympic stuff. So filming integration was really lighting that spark again. So I was like, this is what I love about BMX. But then when that crash happened of the Olympics popping in my mind, I was just like, this is something I want and I'm not ready to give up on. Mm-hmm. And then from that moment on, it was like every decision is based on, is this going to set me up to get to Perris?
Crazy.
That is crazy. The ACL and her getting into the Olympics was like.
And what month is this that we're talking about?
June. So I tore my ACL on June 13th of 23.
Yeah.
Had surgery the 22nd.
At
USA
the premiere
Cycling.
on crutches.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Called USA Cycling immediately. Like they took care of me. The next day I was already had surgery, like scheduled, like the trip and everything planned. Like we had a plan and we knew that the timeline would be tight because the Olympics was July 31st was finals.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that is quick. That is, especially to get back and qualify.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's the thing. Like if you're guaranteed to ride the Olympics a year later, that's one thing, but you have to qualify for the Olympics and you're going against, your teammates essentially to qualify, Angie and Hannah, which are no slouches by any means.
No, they're 100% very well capable of taking that position or like filling that position as well.
I do feel like we should focus on integration a little bit, but should we move forward with Olympics and then rewind to integration, or what do you think? Yeah,
I think the story getting to the Olympics, like how you actually got there from this injury, and we can go back to integration.
So every decision basically became. Does it move me closer to Perris or away from it, basically? Mm-hmm. So what is that recovery process like? What did USA Cycling do for you, etc.? And you're in North Carolina at this point.
So this time I was in North Carolina. they flew me to Vail, Colorado, because that's where the top surgeons are. Like I said, I had surgery a week later on the operating table, June 23rd, 2023. Spent a couple days there and then got home and was immediately in PT. Just, you start from the basics, like just lifting your leg again. Like, I was non-weight bearing was supposed to be 6 weeks, but it ended up being 8 because of the severity of both meniscus tears. So I needed a few extra weeks off. But yeah, it was just every day of waking up and deciding like, okay, today I have to try to move my leg. Like, and it was painful. It was horrible. Every day was like excruciating. Like, yeah, it was. And then knowing the timeline too was like, you're up against the clock. And then I felt like that's all I wanted at the time, because I was like, if it was the first thought, like, this is what I want, so that's when moving came into mind, because it was like, well, I'm not going to be able to ride until around this time, so when I can ride, I want to be in the best, like, area for me to be riding with people who are awesome to just progress with and make it fun, like, love BMX, and then I wanted to be the best, like, physical shape that I could be in, and then mental and everything. So I hired a nutritionist during that time. I hired a meditation coach. I did PT every day. My strength coach, Ariel, she wrote me a program. So I was just doing like both of those programs every day. And it was just, that was my life, was just recovering.
So I remember when, Nora Cup last year, for the people that don't know, I want the winners to be there. I tend to be like, hey, you're nominated, it'd be good to have you there. And you're like, people are like, oh, I can't make it or whatever. And then the way that year unfolded, a lot of the winners couldn't make it. And so I was really like putting pressure, and I really put a ton of pressure on you. And I remember being pretty frustrated. It makes more sense now, knowing the context of everything, that every decision is this put me closer to the Olympics or further away from the Olympics? Well, and that's what you told me, is that I can't be on a plane for 10 hours.
And then I'd miss a couple of days of physical therapy. And to me, a couple of days, that's huge. Yeah. Like,
when the timeline was literally like going to be crunched to weeks and days.
Like less than a year, because the Olympic qualifying series started in May.
Yeah.
So that wasn't even a full year.
And then we're talking September surgery. And you're still, 8 weeks from June 22nd, July, August, you're barely walking at that point. Yeah, when we're talking about this, you're barely walking.
Yeah, when I flew for the integration premiere, I was still non-weight bearing. Like, that travel, and that was a quicker travel than going all the way to Hastings. Like, that was rough.
Yeah.
And then, so I knew from just how like rough that was, and then I was already doing that, which was already taking away a few days of like PT and stuff. So it put me in a position that I hate, where like I have to be selfish, and I hate being selfish. Like, I feel so guilty. Like, I'm such a people pleaser, and I was having to say no to so many things, and like I felt bad, but I knew in the back of my mind, like, this goal is what I wanted, and I'm going to do everything in my control to reach that goal. Yeah.
It makes a lot more sense now, hearing that like played out. And then at the point, for me, I was being selfish, because I was like, but fly to Hastings.
You're like, but I'll get your ticket.
Like,
I'll
pay for everything. I'll pay for everything. Like, come on. So it's okay. I get it now. And it's like, that mentality is a hyper focused, almost, like you said, selfish is probably the best way to put it, because it really is. Like, you have to put yourself and your health above everything else. And probably a detriment of certain relationships at a point too.
There's even like the whole Olympic process. Like, that's something that like people don't really understand or like don't get until you're in it, is like, it is a long process, and it is very much of like, you have to be selfish in certain situations. Like, but that's the way you have to be. Like, for me, I put myself in this box of like only riding park for so long. So then I was like, but I like to ride dirt. I like to ride street. I like to ride all these other things. But the Olympics, like that was what I wanted. So I would focus on that. But then filming for integration and stuff, I was like, oh my gosh, I love all of this. Like maybe there's a way to do, like, because I was still progressing on each trip. I learned so much on each trip. So it was like, oh, maybe there is a way to like sprinkle it in. And then I went and got hurt.
Yeah.
There's like positives to it, but there's also that huge risk factor when you're trying to make your first video part or any video part when you're really putting everything in. It's like any day you could get hurt, but you think when you're training for the Olympics, you can get in such a routine where you're like, you know, like a lot to get into the Olympics, you can't do it by just fucking around anymore. Yeah. You know, or dude, you never could. You never could. You have to have your training facility. Like everyone who's in there pretty much has a training facility. They ride that and they go to the gym. There's like, I don't think there's any exceptions.
I mean, there was a lot of examples this year I felt where it was more palpable or noticeable that people put everything into it, where they stopped going to events outside of anything that wasn't Olympic related. And they kind of like just put themselves in this lane and that was it. And for some of them, it didn't work out, which is crazy, you know? And that is like, to me, that's the hardest thing.
It's only going to work out for 3 people. Which is not like a gnarly risk to like put all your eggs in one basket. Cause like no one remembers a 4th place.
I got 4th in Tokyo and that was the craziest thing for me too is getting 4th place in Tokyo. You need that medal.
That's the whole point is to have one of those medals.
Getting 4th place in Tokyo. No one cares about you. No one wants anything to do with you. But then you come home with hardware and everyone wants something to do with you. And you're like, for me, that was overwhelming. Like I'm very much I like to live my life. I like to hang out with my friends, like my people and like, just kind of do my thing. And then I'm like being pulled here, there, boom, boom. Like, we want you here, we want you there. And so I had to sit for a second and be like, okay, this is overwhelming for me, but how can I make it to where it's not about me? Yeah. Like I can talk to people about BMX. Like I can, like there's more to it. So how can I
divert the conversation a little bit. Yeah.
The 4th place is like amazing. You know, like that's a huge, insane feat, but it doesn't come with any of these like benefits of like you putting your version of BMX into the mainstream. You need one of those
first
medals
loser.
to do that.
Exactly. Yeah. I was like, oh, that's bullshit.
As far as like what these USA and all these governing bodies are looking for, the 4th place, they're probably like, shit.
Yeah.
You just missed it. When you're like 4th fucking place.
By less than a point too. Like,
damn. Yeah. It's like one bar spin in difference or whatever.
Yeah. So, but that lit a fire under my ass. Like it really did. It was like, I was that close. And that's why I wanted Perris so bad is because I was that close. So I was like, I know that I can accomplish. I'm capable of being on that podium.
And man, did you make it hard for yourself though with that injury?
See, but to me, I'm like, and you reminded me immediately, like everything happens for a reason.
You moved to San Diego in the best shape I've ever seen you in your life. And I was like, wow, like this, cause you kind of, you know, you're on the different side of the country from me. We keep in touch, but I didn't see you forever. And you got here. I was like, she's been putting the work in. Yeah. Like, and then she got on the bike and instantly, like even at the pump track, it was just like, okay, you have a crazy advantage you didn't have before from this insane work ethic you put in for all these months to get your knee healthy. But it also, you said like the mental coaches and all this other stuff, like you came back a new person.
Yeah. And that was the goal. And just knowing like that was so reassuring because you feel good on the bike when you start riding. You're mentally, you're just so present and just so in what happy you're doing. Too. Yeah. And it's like, I needed that.
You were happy filming for integration, but you didn't seem that happy when you had to like ride park and stuff and the whole Olympic thing. You were just like, ugh.
Yeah, it was more of like I had to do that. Like I really was starting to fall out of love with riding. Like I reached a point to where like, I was like, this is a job. Like, yeah, we all do it for our job, but like we get to enjoy it. But
the Olympic things is different.
Yeah, I felt very like forceful and so filming was really starting to reignite that like love.
I mean, you talk about that too, where it's like you go project and then you're like contest focused and you're like, I'm gonna go back to project base,
yeah, my whole life. I mean, I talked to Perris a ton throughout filming for integration about that because I was like, you can do it. I've done it my whole career where it's like go to a contest and you go on a film trip. It always keeps it fresh for me because I'm such a like crazy person with needing to stay entertained, you know? Like I don't even go to the same park ever twice in a row. I try not to. If I do, I'm like, ugh.
Yeah.
You know, like went to the bike park 2 days in a row and I was like, this is the funnest place ever. But 2 days in a row, I was like,
Yeah.
Way too much for me. Like, I have to change it up completely.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's ways to keep it fresh. And I saw that when we started filming integration, you just really were like, I want to do this. I want to learn this. You were just every day.
Brand new.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because it's not, you had so in your head from you were riding Nyquist Place and it's a box jump and a spine for the most part. Yeah. And it's like, how long can you ride that? It's a super fun setup, but how long can you ride that where you're trying to figure out new tricks where you're going to drive yourself crazy, but you go out in the streets or a new cement park and it doesn't have to be a 3-whip. You're trying a 3-whip for the first time. You could do a wall ride 180 or something and get that same like, like that's a new thing unlocked.
Well,
it's
and
unlocking
for me,
stuff.
That was like the coolest thing is because filming for a video part, that was my own expectation. That's what I wanted to do.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas like the Olympic stuff, you feel like, because you're representing your country, you're representing like there's an additional pressure added to it. Mm-hmm. But at the end of the day, a lot of it is the pressure that you put on yourself. But filming that was me. Like, that's, what do I want to do? What do I want this part to be? Like, how am I going to make this, like, this is all my riding. This is everything I love. We got to ride dirt jumps. We got to ride cool parks. Like, we went in Road Street. Like, that, I love that stuff. Like, so for me, it was like, this is my expectation.
There's also the pressure too. We'll go back in time and talk about your whole getting into this, but the Olympics is what made you get to ride for a job.
Oh,
Before Vans and Odyssey and Source and all these, like you as a marketable, awesome rider took over. It was like, you can do good in the Olympics. Here's money.
Yep.
So we'll go all the way back there, but that's how she got paid, was because America.
Mm-hmm. So you get injured in June. What month do you move to San Diego?
Well, so we went to Tahoe in October. We moved to Tahoe because it's so hard to find a place out here from across the country. So we went to Tahoe, lived there for a couple of months, and actually we were driving down for your baby shower, and my old neighbor texted me and said, "Hey, I don't know if you guys are still looking, but the house across the street from us is going to go up for rent soon." And I was like, yeah, we're looking. We're on our way right now. Like, can we're gonna come look. So craziest thing, we went and our neighbor put a sticky note on the door to the guy that lived there and was like, "Hey, I have people who want to come look." Let us walk through the house at like 8:30 at night. We contacted the owner and we're like, "Hey, we did a walkthrough. We like the house." And he's like, "Cool, I'll keep in touch." And then we got the house a couple months later when the guy moved out.
That's really how you have to do it here.
Serendipitous.
Is be here and go jump on it.
Yeah.
It's hard without doing that.
Yeah, you get a little in and you get in there first because generally they go down the list.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then the first person that qualifies, that's it. So if you get in early,
they're
that's
trying to get that thing rented quick.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it all worked out, and that we moved down here, I think February.
Okay.
I think.
All right. Yeah. And then
it was pretty much straight to the Olympic stuff.
Yeah, I started March I started pumping around a little bit, like towards the end of March. Wow.
Impressive, right?
Impressive.
And then from then it was because that top secret Utah facility got built. And from pretty much March on, we were there every other week.
And she couldn't even tell me that.
I couldn't tell him.
She was like, "We're going to camps." I'm like, "They are fucking you. What are you doing going to camps?" Like, what do you mean? Like, she made it sound like they were going and like doing meetings and then flying home. Like, they are screwing you guys over.
It was like
she was riding
the best park ever. Yeah, they just wanted it to be for us. And dude, the facility is insane. It's so cool. Those ramps are so awesome. And
it looks crazy.
It is huge. Like, our jaws
legit training facility.
It looks like it should be airplanes in the back. Like, it looks like there's a whole other like area that is massive. We were like dissecting it, I think, like looking in the background.
All of that is going to get built out. They have so many plans, like Joe Serlin. And
who is it funded by and stuff? Wait, Serlin,
he's building.
Okay.
He built it all. He built him and like his crew. Actually, he had gosh dang it.
Okay, Kat.
I don't remember
one of
his
the builders.
Name. Yeah.
Probably Bostrom, possibly.
No.
Kimmler, Wessel, Corrigan, Pova.
I don't know why I'm forgetting his name.
It's okay.
But his crew went out there.
Oh.
I was gonna say John, but that's Scottish John.
John Bulgens.
Yeah, you built it.
Dang it.
Oh well.
I don't
Someone
remember
built
his
it.
name.
Whoever did a really great job.
John
Saxton?
Saxton.
No, I don't know. I don't know.
One of the dudes, because they did a good job.
Let's
he
move
lives
on.
out there. Yeah, we'll move on from that.
So that place is like funded by USA Cycling. What is?
I don't know how all the back end stuff works. I just know that they like wanted us to have a facility, and then Joe found a building in Utah. Like his buddy owns that building, and like they're working together, and then USA is involved, and they're hopefully going to keep it through 2028, and then maybe even beyond if some magic happens. I don't know.
Cool.
People keep getting medals, probably.
Yeah,
like,
and I mean, there's so many young kids in Utah, and it snows in Utah, so it's like this is an amazing opportunity, and I hope that they all get to ride it. Like I hope it's not just for like the national team.
Yeah,
like I hope that there's like because we need like younger kids to come in. Yeah, so
and that's a problem with like North American BMX right now, or America in general, is just like that there's no facilities really.
Right.
Like Europe's filled with them, Australia's filled with them. Like here you have to have your own private one, really, or Woodward, which isn't accessible.
And
to
it's
everyone.
like a mission too.
Yes.
Like you only have 2, so it's
only 2 Woodwards, and they're not near. Like you don't want to move out there, relocate your life anymore for that kind of stuff.
No.
What was getting back on the bike like? You know, you got this. You're riding. Wait, you said February you started pumping around, or March, April, May was the first event. It's 2 months. Okay,
and like it went from
confidence level
pumping,
is destroyed.
like tires on the ground. No, not really though. Honestly, like with my meditation coach, I would spend, and that was another part of it. Like part of the recovery, like each day I was like blocked out. Like these hours I'm working out, these hours I'm doing this PT. Like I'll do visualization. So I was constantly doing things. So in my I was practicing the visualization stuff, and people might think I'm crazy, but like
Rue's a menace right now.
That stuff it's wild. So when I got back on my bike, felt like I rode the week before.
Crazy.
Like it was so weird because I would go and I'd like touch my grips, and I'd put my feet on the pedals like during the whole process, like recovery process. So it wasn't so foreign to me. So
wild.
It was like
once your body was healthy, it was muscle memory. You had it dialed.
And then so that first event was Shanghai.
Yep.
And I remember it being funny because my that was like my intro to figuring all that world out. And I was like, why are you last to ride?
Oh, the whole time. Even at the Olympics, I was the first one to drop in.
Yeah. And it's like
so strange.
And so there's like 24 people in each class, right? 24 riders, maybe even more.
Yeah, I don't know.
And Perris is the first to drop in. I was like, why are you first? You know, like there was no offense, but there was like a couple people there that were like kind of defaulted in because of, the qualifications from the countries and stuff where, like you're top seed essentially, but you're back.
I was out the whole year. Yeah. I'm not even ranked right now. Like UCI rankings, I'm not even on the board.
Yeah.
I'm that far out of, because I was out of the whole, I haven't done a UCI contest since I think Montpellier was my last one.
Yeah.
So what kept your rank or whatever to get in there? Because I remember thinking like, there's no way you can get in the Olympics because you're missing all that stuff.
Well, this time
you had like a in.
So I think that the countries got to pick select riders for the qualifying series, and then it was up to the individual to qualify themselves.
I know the answer.
So you can either get in there through points, or they had like one spot from each country.
So I know the answer. The qualifying series, which was Shanghai and Budapest, it kind of is inherently backwards because what was it? 5 people got to get their individual placings there. It had nothing to do with countries. But in order to get to the qualifying series, it was the country's points that qualified. So Nikita did the lifting basically for the Swiss team, and she did so good that she qualified 2 people to be at the and the women's side to be at the qualifying series. So then the second Swiss girl she was amazing, great rider, but like compared to the rest of the field, she didn't necessarily belong because she just got there via Nikita's points. Yeah. And the most amount of spots you could get was 3. So for USA, even though she was out, basically Angie and Hannah killed it. So they got 3 spots.
Mhm.
And so Perris got in there. And then, fucking flip flop. Angie gets hurt at the first Shanghai one.
Yeah.
And then it's Paris's first one back.
Yeah, during practice.
Yeah, right, like 4 minutes before the event.
Yeah, right before the event started.
Yeah.
So
Angie gets hurt.
If you didn't get back, America would have only had Hannah?
Yeah, because Angie got hurt.
Yeah. Or would they have another person come in? Or
No,
you're already there?
because I think the way that it worked was who was in the qualifying series, that's who it was. You couldn't bring like a substitute.
Yeah, because there was less riders at the second one because a couple people were like, "Oh, I blew it," or in Angie's instance, she got hurt. So then they were just down a person.
Okay,
you can't replace anything.
Yeah, and then I don't think the Swiss girl showed up for that.
She didn't show. Yeah, that's that was instant too. Where it's like, all right, we're not gonna spend the money. And even Swiss turned down the Olympic spot. Yeah. So Swiss was the one that on the Olympic side they had a second Olympic spot, and they turned it down because they were like, oh well, our second rider is not going to be competitive, so we'd rather
just put the money into Nikita.
Put the money in
and then I think Maka got a spot because of that. So
which is awesome.
Person dropped. And then,
you'd think they'd just be selfish and be like, yeah, we'll just have a second rider.
That's cool. Shout out to the Swiss. Swiss cycling team for doing that.
So, that's your first event back. Your first to drop in. Are you feeling 100%? Like going in? Are you 90? Where are you at?
Well, that one I was. So my whole mindset on this like Olympic process shifted. Like, just real quick, going to Tokyo, I didn't want to go. I was like so burnt out, tired, just like, I just didn't. I was done. Like I was just the post-Olympic depression. I felt it and I didn't even want to go. I cried the day before. I was like, I don't want to go. Can I not go? Like, just outed myself from the beginning because I was comparing myself to other girls with the COVID thing. Like, it just extended everything. So I don't know. It was just weird. So for me,
seemed like a pretty shitty process too. Like COVID tests every day. You're isolated. You're not really getting the experience either.
It was weird. It was super weird. But then, I got fourth at that one. And I decided like, I don't want Paris's process to be the same. So for me, I was just shifted my mindset and it became like to each event, just like doing a run that I was hyped on instead of putting like a result or like that pressure on myself. I was like, of course my goals were top 5. I'm not going to be upset if I don't make podium. Like if I do, that's the cherry on top. But for me, it was top 5 and just find a line, do a run that you're hyped on. And then where that puts you, cool. Just like enjoy it. And so going to Shanghai was just have fun, like knowing that I'm capable of placing top 5 and really just believing in myself. And I felt good. I felt like mentally I was just in a great place. Like physically I was fit. So I knew like all of the hard work, like it paid off. Like it would show and I would be okay. So I just went out and rode. Like I just went out and
I was there at Shanghai. I didn't get to shoot. I didn't film. I wasn't allowed to film, but I was allowed to shoot photos. So
you couldn't film anything?
No, wasn't allowed to film anything at any of those.
Oh.
I couldn't film the course.
Oh.
Like I couldn't be like, here's the course.
Interesting.
Couldn't film with my phone.
There's so many rules.
Yeah, that was the thing where it was like, that's why before we were talking, it was like, I was down to do as much as I could within the limitations that I was given. You know, like I started film. Remember, I got on course. I started filming, and then I got the message like, "Yeah, no practice footage. You're not allowed to film the course." At all.
That photo's sick.
So it was like, okay,
interesting. So you had to work with what?
Yeah. So, but I mean, like this was heavy. Look how big it is.
Yeah, that was so fun. It was just a boom splat.
So you didn't seem to miss a beat from the outside looking in.
Well, thanks.
Yeah, you look better than ever.
Yeah,
it was the decision every day of just, and that is what it ultimately came down to is like, and the support system around me of like Michaela and just my close friends and family, like encouraging me, like, hey, you could still do this, like, and I just reminded myself like I'm no stranger to hard work. And when time comes of where it's just time to put your head down and grind, like that's all I did, because I mean, that's really all I could have done. What do I do? Just sit around and hope that my injury gets better? Like it doesn't happen that way.
Yeah.
So
what's it like? So you're on a team. You generally travel. At this event, it was crazy. I think it was more maybe at this one, or maybe it was the same in Budapest too. But you guys at the airport was pretty funny. It was, you know, you had you had Marcus, Justin, Nick, Nyquist,
Angie, Tice, Hannah, Darden, I think was
Darden.
I think we had
one of the and then the other people was like
the doc. I don't know if our team doctor wasn't in Shanghai. We needed her there.
Yeah.
But they handled it all. Handled Angie.
Yeah. So there was like 3 other people. It was like a personal trainer type, right? And then I feel like there was a woman there.
Yeah, Tice. She does the Swanee stuff. She makes sure we're staying hydrated and like massage at the end of the day. Like she keeps us dialed.
And then the other dude from North Carolina did what?
He is Hannah and Marcus's strength and conditioning coach.
Okay. So yeah, huge squad. Nyquist has like 2 or 3 road bikes packed up too. So his bag game is insane too. You guys are a full like unit.
We travel and we travel deep, especially. Yeah. I mean, I don't think at that event we had to bring 2 bikes, but the Olympics, like add another bike onto that. Oh
yeah. For you, just in case. And then what's it like kind of being on that team? I assume, you know, Nyquist is in your ear in some capacity.
Yeah. I mean, for this one, it's like, for this process, we just, like, we learned, I feel like we've had 8 years, like, where we kind of learn each other. And I just wanted to just focus on my thing and, like, my riding. And we just came to a point where it's like, I'd get his advice when, like, it was necessary, and like they were just there to support me and support all of us. And yeah, I mean, the months leading up to these events, like we were with each other every other week. We were staying in an Airbnb with each other every single week, basically. Like, so we were all very close by these events. So for that, it was really cool, because you had each other's backs. Like, you can, like, at the end of the day, you kind of vent about how was your day? Like, you check in on each other. You become more, it's a very individual sport, but then, like, we had, like, a very great team aspect leading up to that. And that was because of all of the travel and stuff that we were doing prior. But with that came, like, that little positivity came out of it as well, where it was just like we had each other's back. Like, it was cool to, like, have this crew of people with you. And yeah, it just felt nice. Like, it was a good support system.
Cool. Sorry, but
Flemmy.
Yeah, it's almost like a team, like an Odyssey or a Haro or Vans or whatever, where you're making a video together, but you're all focused on this end contest.
Yeah, and you're, like, picking the course apart with each other, and, like, oh, hey, there's things where I'm like, Marcus, tell me how that feels in practice.
Yeah.
Like, you just work together and it's fun.
I assume there was a time period where, like, at this point, I feel like you guys all know each other, but there was had to be a time period where Nyquist is genuinely coaching you.
Yeah.
At a, you know, like, do this trick here, jump across this. But is that weird, or is it?
For me, the whole having a coach is weird.
Yeah.
Like, I grew up with a big brother and, like, all of our friends, and it was like you progress that way. So I had to really learn about, like, the coaching thing and setting that boundary for myself, because sometimes it was, like, a little too serious for me, like, having a coach. But then it came to a point where I would tell Ryan, like, hey, like, just be my friend. Like, let's be friend Ryan. Like, and he was good at, he could turn it off, and we could just have a session, and it would be 2 friends riding together, progressing. And at these events too, it was more of like, hey, what feels good? Like, just switching the dialogue a little bit. Like, what feels good on that? Like, what trick do you think that you could do on that? And then, because for me, it was, I like to have control in what I do, and having someone tell me what to do, I kind of will back up and do the opposite in some situations.
Same.
So it became like we had to learn each other. Like, we had to, it became a suggestion, like a question. And then I fill in the answer, like what trick feels comfortable for me. So it's just, the whole thing is like such a learning process and like a learning curve of like having a coach and being able to separate that, or being able to turn that off and just like, hey, give me advice like a friend at a session type thing.
I think most people started riding BMX because they enjoyed that it was whatever they wanted to do. You know, so I think the idea of somebody telling you to do stuff, pretty crazy.
Yeah, I mean,
outside, you know,
yeah.
like, so, and even Nyquist said that it's hard for him at times, and certain people are more receptive than
some people
others.
like to push, and then like you guys said, some people like you guys, like it makes you almost be like want to rebel on the idea. Yeah, even if it's a good idea, you're like, I'm not doing what you told me to do.
Yeah, if it doesn't come from you, it's kind of like, well, you want me to do this, so
yeah.
But then it comes like a mutual thing where you're like, well, how can I help you become the best version of yourself that accomplish your goals? And that's what it ultimately came down to, is like communication. You have to communicate. And like, if you're in a role like that, you have to learn how to communicate, because everyone's different. I can't communicate to you the same way I communicate to you. So you have to like learn all of that. And I mean,
some people might just need a little push, like you got that, or like you don't even gotta stress that because it's not gonna make your run that much better. You're gonna have to avoid this and that, you know, and you're like, okay, cool. Like I'm not even gonna worry about that line that's scaring me, or like, fuck it, he told me I got it, you know.
Yeah, and that was like,
you gotta trust the people too. Like when there's those people you trust and they tell you got it, you're like, all right, they're not gonna, they can see that I got this.
Wrong,
that helps a lot. Yeah, there's definitely a million different ways to be a BMX coach.
Yeah. And I just
doesn't have to be blowing a whistle with a clipboard.
Right. And it's like, it's all up to the athlete too. It's all up to, how do you receive this? How do you receive stuff?
Comes down to a good coach is understanding each person and how different each person needs to be helped. Yeah.
Where do I coach you? Like, where does my position come in?
Yep.
So yeah, it's a crazy, crazy world, but also like there's a great way to like do it. And a lot of people, I mean, we're going on the second Olympics. Like it's still working. Like
people
probably working better and better, I would assume.
Yeah. With it, and that's all it is just trial and error and just giving it time and like riding out the like choppy waves of what it can be. And like, I mean, every person probably goes through it. Like every country, because it's also new. Think about it. We're only 2 cycles in. Like that's brand new.
It is. The world is funny too, because like there's that passive coaching that exists. And then I was tripping because I think it was definitely a Shanghai where the Latvian girl. Is she Latvian? Where it's
she has the headpiece.
It's the coach Michael Baron. Where is he from?
Czech Republic.
And then her name, she rips. She does like all the, I bet
sick,
she does the one-handed cannonballs and stuff like that, like seat grab cannonballs and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But in practice, Michael Baran has the headpiece on. She's got the earpiece.
That was the first time I saw that.
And they're talking to each other while she's riding, and he's
full on.
And I was like,
all right, this Unclicked podcast is brought to you by Source BMX. We're very grateful to have them as a sponsor for the podcast, and couldn't work any more organically.
Yeah, huge shout out to Source. Been a supporter of ourbmx from the beginning, supporter of the podcast this year. They did kick off one of these new programs called Source Rewards. This is a brand new program that they have.
It's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
You get money back for spending money.
Basically, and not even that. So you get points when you join, you get points when you spend money, of course, but you also get points for signing for the mailing list. You get points for your birthday.
Leave a review. Yeah. Easy points all over. Make a purchase. Refer friends. Follow us on TikTok. Follow us on Instagram. Look at all that stuff.
So
genius. The Source guys are geniuses. They make it better and better to buy from them.
Yeah. And then so you can, this is how you spend those points. You can get hats, badges, socks. I got to tell you, those socks are the ones right there. They do somehow work. They are good socks. The Oxygen Thief Repair.
I love it. They have everything on here, all the products, and now they have basically like a frequent flyer miles thing.
It is like that.
It's like that, but for buying BMX shit.
Yep. So shout out to Source.
Wow, it's just like a frequent. You get the bronze, silver, gold package. Look at that.
Thank you to Source for all they do. We appreciate you guys, and back to the podcast.
Thank you, Source.
Dude, we're so good at this.
What is happening right now? Like it was was crazy. But then you, in the same sense, is like they were just.
So they probably communicate really, really well, and it's nice for her coach and her really good friend is next to her every time she pops on the deck, instead of having to be like, oh my god, like,
she could be across the course and he's down here, and it's
pretty genius if that's how you work well with your
That's
coach.
what I was going to get at, is because it's like there was a problem solving thing that is like batshit crazy to me. Looking, I'm like, what is happening in this place? But then also there's people, the coaches are yelling across the park like, yo, come over here, like they're like, keep going, 45 seconds or something, like,
it's
or whatever.
Weird to have
like
that, but it almost sounds more peaceful. Like they can just be calm and be together the whole time.
So it was
not right next to each other.
Pretty funny. Like just one of those like first, because the women's practice was the first thing, and I was like, okay, brand new place. Like, all right, Shanghai, jerseys, stationary bikes, like, ice packs. Yeah, like the crew is crazy. Like, there's there's earpieces. I was like, okay, no filming, like one of those. Like, so
I am curious to see if that becomes more of a regular thing.
I would kind of assume so. It does seem like it is
but just like a little more discreet somehow, because that thing was huge. I feel like it would weigh my helmet down.
They could probably get some really nice
little earpiece,
small ones.
Something.
But you definitely would not be allowed to do that in the contest.
No way.
I
don't think so.
No way. That's cheating, because they could be like Bart X.
Yeah,
because that's a part of your run is memorization. Because I know you're not allowed to use one like during motocross.
No, and I asked. I actually thought of that like while I was at the Supercross championship, and I asked one of the dudes. I was like, "Is that a thing? Like, because everyone is down there, like, who are they communicating to? They have headpieces on, but I guess they're communicating to someone that's higher."
Yeah, no, that'd be
because they use the boards at the finish line.
That'd be a crazy advantage, but they do it in other motorsports.
Yeah,
where you're communicating with the guy on the ground.
Interesting.
Yeah, so I'm kind of surprised. It'd actually make the race like crazier and safer, because sometimes that shit gets dangerous just because they have blind spots.
Yeah.
And that's like the landing on someone by accident is like really dangerous.
So fifth in Shanghai, which was a really good placing. You're trying to get your points. Is that the maybe? Oh no. That's my wife. My wife is home. That's Curtis.
Oh.
Yeah. Anti-knocking
against the wall.
And then you go to Budapest and do you guys run numbers like, hey, you need this place or better? Is it still kind of up in the air? Or
so for the men, it was a bit closer, where I think that they were crunching numbers. Yeah. But for us, for me, it was same goal. For Hannah, it was same goal, top 5. Yeah. Like neither one of us put a podium pressure on ourselves. Like it was just, let's get top 5, let's secure our spot, and then like we're in. Because I didn't even. For me, this whole thing, I didn't even know if the Olympics was a thing. So just to get there was like amazing. So that was my goal, was like, just get there. Like you can just put down a run that you're stoked on. And then if that gives you top 5, like just get there. Like, so yeah, that's the same mindset I went into it with, was just do a run that you're hyped on, and wherever it puts you. The course was weird, but I loved it.
That's what I was going to get at. Yeah, it was. It was the spine course. So these are
box jump.
These are not in any particular order. I was looking for the tongue.
Colin will make me reshoot a photo sometimes if my tongue's sticking out.
The tier. So that was qualification. Sorry. But you were obviously elated. And that's the end of the day was interesting for me outside looking in. It was like you could just,
there's heartbreaks, there's celebrating.
Because this is where people make it or don't make it, the last one.
Yeah, like where you secure your individual, and then the rest is up to, I don't even know what the process was after that.
This poor woman.
Oh my gosh, dude.
So she was first place is Sun Sabay, right? And she was first place in Shanghai, and she basically was good. And then she tried to do a triple bar on a quarter. And I heard there was a little bit of controversy because Durs told her to chill, and there's another Chinese coach, and the Chinese the Chinese coach told her to not chill.
Yeah.
And she did a triple bar on the quarter and she fell.
She hung up her back wheel, I think.
Yeah.
Missed her hand.
And then it was basically, it was a wrap.
Mm-hmm.
And so she didn't qualify because the other 2 Chinese girls killed it. So they can only take 2. So she lost out. And she was wailing
It was
off
like
the course, screaming essentially.
Like scream, like from the gut, like you could hear it across the park. You thought that there was a serious injury or something crazy happening. Like it was
hard. Yeah. It was crazy. And that was like the big example.
Probably could get a gold.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
All like
she's
the Chinese women
one.
are just,
they're
all of
3.
them.
Yeah.
All of them. Any of them can be the one.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, any of the girls now, like anyone can take it. It's insane. Yeah.
So there was that. And then, you can see some of, Hannah's qualified, like the party within it was cool to see. And then, on the men's side, you're so tight, you're so teared up.
I know.
You guys got first and second at that one, right?
Yeah.
So that was the 5 that qualified there.
Wow, what a time. It's crazy because all of this happens so fast. You don't have time to really
it's back on the bike.
Yeah. You're
crazy
just on to the
contest,
next. Yep.
insane facility in Utah. You're going to every other week or were you going every week?
Every other
week. So it went crazy. It went from just like militant scheduled Perris getting to peak performance to like go
all in.
Yeah.
Like my schedule was out the window.
Pretty crazy. Yeah.
That's
good though. That's why you put that time in for yourself. So, cause like there's going to be a crossing when you cross that day.
Well,
it's like,
we didn't know it would be that like full on. Like at this time, like the facility wasn't really.
Oh, okay.
Like,
thank God for that facility because you don't really have anywhere to do that kind of stuff here.
No, I mean like riding your ramps and stuff. Like that's the closest I could get. But this facility,
my ramp is like really hard to learn anything on though.
Yeah.
Like,
But like going to these events after riding the facility, it's like in the past I would drop into a World Cup course and I'd be going down the quarter pipe and I'm like, holy crap, these ramps are big.
Yeah.
So it would take me a second. Like we have to readjust to these big ramps. Whereas now in Utah, we would go ride there and then you show up to an event and you're like, same size ramps I've been riding. Like it's comfy.
I remember doing that before I built my new ramps. Like I would just the whole practice just be getting used to it.
You just have to get
having just OB in Claremont is not enough.
Oh no way.
So I was going to say your favorite park here is OB.
Yeah, I love
which is like a 5. There's
tiny.
5 foot is the biggest ramp there.
Yeah.
And it's like going to I had the same. I mean, I pedaled around the end of the Budapest course, and I was like, this is insane.
Yeah.
Like I need to be going like 3 times as fast.
You need so much tire pressure. I run 100 PSI. Like,
that's insane. Yeah.
You're just everything and speed. Like these courses feel so much better when you go fast. When you're going slow, you're just like inching over the things. You're barely making it. Whereas like Ryan always tells me if I'm like trying to do something, he goes, you're going to hate me, but speed. And I'm like, I know, you're right.
Yeah.
Like 100%. Like speed is our best friend on these courses.
Yeah. So, all right. Budapest, you're officially qualified, even though you probably would have been qualified anyways because of points and all that stuff. But it's good to I did that myself.
For me, that was my thing. Like once Angie got hurt, like nothing changed for me. For me, it wasn't, I didn't have a spot already.
Yeah.
For me, I still had to earn it. And that was something I wanted to do personally. Like I wanted to do all that work because I wanted to qualify myself and I wanted to put myself in a position to compete at the Olympics. So to not have that spot handed to me, that was huge. Like that was awesome.
Yeah. And then when is this? I guess I could probably look it up.
So
This is
crazy finals this day was June 23rd of 2024. So that was exactly 1 year from when I was on the operating table.
So I remember this now. So that's
why it was so emotional where I was like,
I'm going to take a pee while you guys wrap up.
Like I just did it. Like
timeline.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah. Well, you could let the cat out too. Kick her out.
Not dog.
So yeah, 1 year. Mm-hmm. That is crazy. Yeah. I could see the connection and making
it was relief. It was like, holy crap. This last year has been so insane. We didn't even know if it would be possible that I would even be going to the Olympics, but like competing at these events. Like that was, the timeline was like so short, but it was cool. Like it was such a relief and just such a cool feeling to put in that work and be like, oh my gosh, like I could accomplish this. Like what else can I accomplish like in life beyond this? Like that's the coolest thing about sport is it teaches you about sport, but life too. Like,
visualization and stuff like that. Like it is real in that sense. So you have a month between this event and Paris. Do you train hard? Do you chill? Do you keep it mellow? Do you learn new tricks? So for me, I wasn't in a learning new tricks phase because of the risk of my injury still. Like I was still in the, like you could still re-tear. And just in like the don't be stupid phase. Mm-hmm. So for me, I was just trying to get comfy on like doing the stuff that I've already done. Like I didn't have the opportunity to learn new tricks and take new tricks to Paris. You did have X Games.
I did have X Games.
So X Games happens.
Yeah, X Games happens right after Budapest. I came home and Hannah came to San Diego with me. We were here for like 2 or 3 days and drove to Ventura and went to X Games.
Yeah. So there was a lot of people, like Logan, no X Games.
Kieran, no X Games.
Lots of people turned it down. Yeah. But how does that play? Like what is Nyquist's advice on riding X Games before the Olympics?
I don't think that they were particularly thrilled just because of the injury factor. But for me, when I was a little kid, the Olympics wasn't a thing. I didn't watch the Olympics. Mm-hmm. I watched X Games. Yeah. That was my Olympics when I was a kid. So there was no telling me I can't do that.
Yeah.
And they supported us. They're like, just, we know you guys are going to do this. We know you have sponsors. Go do it. Like, just obviously be careful. Like, remember the big picture, like what is coming in a couple of weeks. So yeah, for me, it was like, I didn't even really say anything. I was just like, I'm gonna ride.
There's no question.
Like, and I received the text. I remember receiving the text, and I was like, "This has to be fake. Like, this is not real. Like, would you be down to compete in the X Games if women had an event?" And I was like, "Yeah, duh. Like, of course." And I like text my brother because he's why I got into riding bikes and stuff. And like I always like share this stuff.
We're gonna watch that video with you in like a peach shirt or something like that eventually. So
my first
that was the first one I remember. So,
blonde hair, no helmet. Dude, I got reamed for no helmet. But so I hit him up and he was like, "Yeah, I don't know. Like it sounds awesome, but what about the Olympics?" And I was like, "You're no help. Like you're supposed to tell me go. Like this is we used to go watch the X Games as kids, like in LA. Like go.
Yeah.
But he was like, "Whoa, you've been working really hard," and I'm like, "Nah, I'm going."
Yeah.
Like So yeah, that was crazy.
I mean, it was windy.
Oh yeah.
The park course was good. It was, I feel like it was probably hard to ride for some of the ladies in general. It was fun.
Yeah. I loved it. Yeah. But the wind I didn't love, and I got so much heat after that. I almost that was crazy too.
That Instagram post.
Dude,
so you end up getting second mm-hmm. and you crush it. I think there's always a discrepancy between the mechanics sitting on the couch watching mm-hmm. X Games versus people that understand what riding a bike is and how hard it is to air 7 mm-hmm. feet or 6 feet out of a quarter and transfer across something. This Instagram post went like one of X Games' best posts ever via the negativity.
Yep. It was crazy. And for me, it was
like an X Games posted something.
Yeah, and it was just dogging on me. Like I did no tricks. I didn't do this. I didn't just stuff I didn't do, like what the other girls were doing, and like
oh god,
just totally just putting me down. And I'm like, I felt like shit. It was horrible. It was like I was like I didn't even get to enjoy that because
you felt bad. About it.
I felt like, did I even deserve this? Like I took the medal and I just hit it. Like. It was such
that's a bummer.
Like just a ick feeling. Like I'm like, well, shoot, did I even like deserve this? Or like, I don't know. I was excited about my riding. Like, yeah, I could have done more things, but also
I have fucking Olympics in 3 weeks.
I had the Olympics and it was so windy.
No,
so I was like,
it. I mean, everyone goes through that. Kevin, even, I overheard Wani or someone telling me he got in the same wormhole because of doing good at X Games. And then he just started getting these comment things, where it's like, to me, watching as a fan, I'm like, you're on the top of the world, dude. Like, but then, you and I didn't know that those comments were happening about you either. And it sucks to hear that, you people who are killing it, getting these medals, doing great, then you afterwards, instead of going out and partying and having fun, you're like, what the fuck? Did I deserve this? Like, what?
Yeah,
like,
I didn't even enjoy it. It was so like, people would ask me about the X Games and I'm like, I disregard the conversation sometimes.
Well, think about it, if you never even saw, like, I never saw any of those comments. So it's like, if you never saw any of them, and they're all but it's hard. It's like
too. People, like, you're getting tagged in it. You're like it's, and these people forget, like, we're human. Like, I'm a normal ass human who I ride a bike too. Like, we are human. We have feelings. We read these things. We have emotions. Like, and we also have these other big events that we're looking forward to.
And it would go the same way if whoever, got third beat you with your fans and your fan base on that type of riding. Yeah. Because that's what happens with those X Games courses is it's half a bowl, half a park. Yeah. So you're going to have whoever's bias going with or against.
Well, it was just fucking normies, basically. People that don't ride bikes that are going like, okay, she didn't do any tricks, but you did do tricks. Yeah. And it's like,
I didn't pedal in the bowl.
Yeah.
My first run.
And you ripped it and you went faster than anybody else. And they just don't have a context of like what is actually difficult. So then they're sitting there and they're just commenting, they're fucking stomach out with a hot pocket in one hand and saying some toxic shit on the internet. That's essentially what it was. It floated outside of the arena of BMX, and then you just had like just basically internet assholes just being like, this is women sports, like stuff like that. Like,
and I think
I could put on like, there's literally like, I could put on a dress and be that good in 2 weeks, or something. Like, it's just dumb shit where it's like, no, you would die. You would actually die. You would be in the hospital. Your parents would be sad.
Yeah, it came to a point where I got off all social media. Even still, I'm so very like minimum on it, just because of
no matter what.
Because I'm protecting my peace. I'm protecting like, everyone has an opinion, and I guess it's up to us to not go and like read these things, but sometimes you can't avoid it. Like, they're there, and so X Games was cool. Like, it was awesome because my family was there. That was the first time they got to see me compete. My best friend came. And like, that part of it was amazing. Like, my nephews got to experience X Games for the first time, how my brother and I used to do it. Like, so that part was cool. But then after the event and the whole, like, it was that like, well, did I really deserve this? Like,
you did.
So that whole like weird thing, but then you have no time to focus on that. Like, you're already on to the next thing.
Yeah.
So thankfully for that, because I didn't like sit in it for too long, but
it wasn't the last event of the summer. That's great.
Yeah.
And then X Games, I assume we can expect it probably again next year.
I hope.
Yeah, I hope so.
That'd be awesome.
Okay, cool. Well, that's a couple of points in there, but it definitely worth discussing. First ever women's event in BMX and in X Games, which is a huge thing. It honestly I felt like it kind of came out of nowhere. I was like, oh shit, they finally did it. I just thought it wasn't going to happen.
Yeah.
So shout out to X Games for doing that.
Yeah.
No shout out to the fucking weirdos on the internet.
Yeah, those people.
But yeah, so Olympics comes, giant lavender course.
Oh yeah. Dude, that course was so fun. It was like a set of dirt jumps for me. It was just hips and just flowed so nice.
Should watch her run on that just so the people can see it. You're watching this on YouTube.
How big is that course in like real life? Like, it looks massive.
It was big.
Looked like 2 contest courses.
Yeah, I think that was the biggest course that we've had.
It seemed like it.
Yeah.
It was huge. It looked really fun.
Because usually I want to say it's like maybe one side of that, one in maybe a half.
It was like even with the amount of time given, there's no way you could hit every ramp in your run. Like, you really got to pick and choose what you wanted to ride. You weren't forced to ride anything.
Yeah, and it was like, there are so many different options just because there were so many different hips and different transfer lines, and like,
When do you guys get to see the course?
So there was a rendering that we got. I think
got
like
leaked.
a couple. Oh,
I
yeah,
think so. Yeah.
probably. I don't know. We didn't see we didn't see the proper thing until a couple weeks before.
Okay. So nobody had a chance to replicate the course this time?
Great Britain did.
They did it again.
Yeah.
They made this course.
Yep. Half of it.
Half of it.
Yep.
That'd kind of screw you over.
Actually,
I mean, look at Kieran.
he did.
I mean,
good. Yeah,
look
he
at
did
him
do
showing
good.
up to a course he's never rode, though. Doesn't really matter.
Yeah, true.
And it's great. It's crazy too. Shout out
He's gonna do
Natalia.
good.
She kind of mirrored your story too.
Yeah.
She had a crazy
She's
injury.
had like 5.
Yeah.
We both rode. I think she rode Tokyo
Man,
with a
that
torn
looks like a fun part.
ACL and then a shoulder
Man,
thing too.
I hope this. I forgot this podcast may get tagged if we have this shit in here.
Really?
Because
I'll try. I'll try. Yeah.
Olympic stuff? What do you mean?
Just a copyright for the visuals.
Oh, that's why
Yeah.
you're watching it the other way. Last time when we were watching for the contest, when we were watching like
small snippets.
you're
or
watching
something.
like Instagram clips of it.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, but that's okay.
These angles make the course look so much better.
Yeah.
Though.
Yeah. So Natalia, she had crazy knee stuff going on for last
She's
3
had
years.
5, I think, ACLs.
Oh my
surgeries.
god. Yeah.
That
5 ACL tears or 4 ACL
I
tears. I
think
guess.
so, and like 5 surgeries or
Fuck.
something. She has had a crazy story.
Yeah. Shout out to her.
Yeah, she's just so
Yeah.
motivated too, and just continues.
This is their first run.
Yeah.
And then how's Hannah doing? I feel like I heard, she was kind of in the burnout phase too for a little while.
Well, the whole travel, leading up to it and stuff, that's hard on us.
Yeah.
That's so. I mean, we all kind of felt like a little burnt out, I think. But I mean, we keep in touch. She's pretty good. She has some stuff that she's focusing on,
Yeah.
school and stuff. So
Isn't there a Hannah Roberts Day?
yeah,
That's sick.
and she has a whole mural in her town.
That's sick.
Wow.
I haven't watched any of the runs. I don't watch the contest while I'm there.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Oh, you don't? You don't watch anyone else?
So while you're there.
No, I don't watch anyone else's run. So I didn't know that. I knew that she fell, and they came and told me that she fell on a fronty, and I haven't seen it yet. But gosh, dang it,
This is the first time you're seeing this.
yeah.
That's amazing. So what's your reason for not
Watching at the events?
I mean, yeah, in general, and afterwards, because
I just haven't had time to sit down and watch after. I mean, I guess I have, but I haven't I don't want to sit. I don't know. I haven't really sat and watched.
Fair
but
enough.
there, I don't. Oh wow, there's my mom. Woo, screaming.
It's so funny you haven't seen this. You've seen your run.
Yeah, I've seen my run.
Please say you've seen your run at least.
First run? This is your first run, right?
Second.
That is a giant. Yo.
Whoa.
The speed it probably doesn't transfer in real life. You have to be going so fast just to even make this course digestible within 60 seconds.
Yeah, you have to, especially in practice. I wasn't timing my runs or anything. I was just kind of riding and seeing what pieces together.
Yeah.
How much practice do you
the
get?
one-handed table.
Darden, that was for Darden.
Yeah.
How much practice do you get?
So originally when we showed up, we had 4 days of 45 seconds.
4 days of 45 minutes?
45 minutes. And then we got rained out the first 2 days. So I didn't know that I got put in second. I just saw my name go up on the board and I was like, woo, I got a score. I couldn't see the screen. So we got rained out the first 2 days and then it
Damn, so 2
ended up-
45-minute days?
No, they gave us an hour and a half,
That's
Okay.
good.
which was
good.
even
Yeah.
better.
Why not just give you all day?
I wish.
Who cares?
Yeah. It's
Who else is riding the course? The 12 guys?
medics or something.
Yeah.
Who knows?
And the staff, all of Van Homan,
Wow.
his whole,
Did she win?
yeah.
Insane.
She upped her score with this run.
She's so good.
Dang, you win. That's funny.
I like
actually.
her bike.
Dang,
Dang,
you
you
win.
win.
Yeah.
Dang, you win.
That's what you said.
Yeah.
Dang, you win. Yeah, the Team China on the women's side is
unreal. This
Yeah.
girl is so
Yeah.
good. Well, now that you guys got your course, you could catch up. You just need some more tricks because no one can compare to you on how you ride the course. I like her bike setup. Do you think Daniel just gave them the bikes and taught them how to ride? Did he do everything, or were they already riding?
They were already
before?
riding. I don't
set your
know
bike
if
up like this.
there's some girls that are even still in it from when Darden was there.
that's what I was going to say.
Oh, yeah.
I asked him, and he said that two of them, or
The Darden set them up. He's
Yeah.
like, this is how you set your bike up. Yeah. Because their bikes are really cool.
like they were the ones that Darden was warning about basically
Yeah.
when he was doing it.
Yep.
So
Good job, Darden.
yeah,
Yeah, shout out to Darden.
shout out to Dang.
Yep.
I
Dang, you
mean,
win.
obviously, killed it. And then
How's that?
so the course was massive.
Mm-hmm.
Was there like, I don't know, a plan of attack? I mean, you have 2 1.5 hour sessions. How do you dissect it? I just
rode the course.
Yeah.
Like
did the run that you want to do.
Yeah, whatever felt good to me, really. And my first drop in, I was just like, this course looks awesome. And just went and started picking it apart, and it started to flow very nicely together. So I was like, cool, like this will set me up here, this can set me up there. And then it wasn't until I think the night before finals where we're like, okay, I was hitting this to this and this lined up here. And then you kind of make your run, and then practice for qualifying was where you kind of piece it together.
Okay. Oh, there was a qualifying round.
Yeah. And 3 people didn't make it.
Okay.
It went from
Which is crazy.
12
You
to
made it to
9.
the Olympics and then 3 still
Right?
don't get to be like in the show.
Right. And all of our finals are 12. Like 12 people, and they dropped it to 9.
Mm.
Yeah, which seems like a superficial qualifying.
But that's how the Olympics were in Tokyo.
too.
It was 9.
Yeah. But there was
You
no
did
qualifying
great.
round.
Nope.
Yeah.
It was just a seeding round to see
Yeah.
like where you
Okay.
where you go.
Which
And
is-
that was the first time I threed in a contest since I got knocked out in Worlds 2019. on
Really?
three.
And
Mhm.
did you 3 it in practice?
Threed it to chunked my back wheel, sprocket
Damn,
case.
so
And then
that
I
was
was
very
like, I was like, Ryan's all, you got it. Like, no stress. Like, once you're in it, like, just, you can do it. So
Yeah.
I was like, all right. I right there, I was just like, yeah, you're right. All right. And
Okay,
then
Hell yeah.
I went up on the vert wall my second run because I didn't do it in my first run. Went up and I was on the vert wall, and it's like time kind of like paused. And then in my head, I was just like, yep. And I could hear Darden and Ryan, and they're just cheering. And then
Yeah.
I just did it. And then the run just carried on. Ryan's like, it'll work perfect when you do it. And I'm like, okay. So
Okay.
it worked. And I was like, that was just,
I was like,
I was like, oh my God, I can't believe it worked. But yeah.
so at that point, you said you didn't see that he put you in second. At
Uh-uh.
what point do you find out that you're in second?
I went and like walked under the tent, and then I don't know who said they're like, you're getting a medal. Like, no matter what, you're in a medal position. Only Hannah can knock you down,
to
but
third.
it'll put you in third. And I was like, what?
Damn.
I said, no matter what, I'm getting a medal. And I don't even know who was saying it. I was just like, and I was so sick that whole week too. Like, it was just, I was ready for it to be done so that I could just rest and not be sick anymore. And
I always say, like, if there was like a fast forward button, like I want it to happen, and I want whatever is going to happen,
yeah.
but I'm ready for it to be over. And I'm like, dude, if there was like a 4X or 8X button right now that I could just get through all of this and be done, I'm like, I kind of wish for that a couple of times. I feel like that's what you're like, I want it.
Yeah.
I'm ready for, I want to do it, but I also just like don't want to experience it in real time.
Yeah. But then again, it was so cool because once I was there, I was there. Like
Yeah.
I was in it, and
Yeah.
you're just like, I kind of knew what to expect this go around. There was a crowd this time. Like everything about it was so different, and it was in the best way.
Yeah.
But yeah, I had no idea. I was just like, wow, okay, I get a medal. Like I didn't, and I still
Congrats.
like
Yeah.
to this
Huge.
day.
The
Thank
story
you.
leading up to that, to you getting that. I was on a horror trip with me and Wani and Josh were staying in bunk beds. We woke up in the morning and Wani's like, Perris got silver. I was like, are you serious? Like, no, because I know what you went
Oh,
through.
yeah.
And I was just like, fuck yeah. I was so stoked that morning.
Oh, I thought
It was good to wake up to
Yeah.
that.
I was trying to find the medal ceremony.
Doing our winter outfits on the hot summer day.
Why do you have winter outfits?
They're the
Oh man, that had to be
kids.
devastating right
Oh,
there.
Yeah.
Oof.
We didn't watch the second run. Did
That's
she?
just that. She drops
Yeah.
into fuck.
Oh,
Just blew it.
She knew
And-
like
I mean, just a tiny case just blew
Yep.
it for her. Just blew her feet off. How was she after that? Because she's like the hopeful, like she's the one with the pressure.
yeah, she handled it so well. Like her family was there. Of course she's
Good for her.
devastated. She's upset. She
wins. She can win everything.
yeah, and she had a bad day and
Mhm.
she accepted that and she went and hung out with her family and spent time with them, but then she came back and she congratulated me and like she came back for the podium ceremony. She was there with me during the whole thing and said, enjoy this. Like, it's going to be a lot, but like, enjoy it. You deserve it. You earned it. Like, Hannah was the best. Like,
Yeah.
Hannah's awesome.
yeah, she is just such an amazing human.
Did she get a silver in Tokyo?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
She's got a
Mhm.
medal.
Mm-hmm.
She deserves a gold though,
LA
with like
is
all her
gonna be-
wins. Like
Yeah.
that's what's got to be hard because she
Yeah.
is like the top female competitor since they
Mhm.
started all this
Yeah.
stuff. Like,
She's had
and
the
then
target
she
on her
didn't get
back.
the gold. It's like Logan never
Yeah.
have getting a
Mhm.
gold. You'd be
Yeah.
like, damn.
Yeah. I mean, it's like John this year too, where it's like it was John's year.
Mm-hmm.
And then he gets the Olympics, and then it's like it's in France. It's
Yeah.
like the story,
still got
the
a second
fairy
though,
tale
right?
story.
Third,
Or
I
third.
think.
He got third,
yeah.
yeah. So, but I guess that's a consolation. But for him, it's probably a loss,
Yeah.
because they're so
Dude,
competitive.
the crowd
Yeah.
was insane.
Oh, I'm
with
sure.
There's
Like
a
when
photo,
Laurie went
someone
and when
shot
he
of
went.
him like on the box after his run, and it is epic.
It
Oh,
is
yeah.
just
One of the
like
coolest contest
loud.
photos
Oh,
I've ever
yeah.
seen.
Yeah.
It was cool.
Like, wow, BMX got to this. Like,
yeah.
French dude in France with everyone behind him just raising his hand after his banger run. It's like,
Yeah. It like gives you
I
chills.
don't know, it's probably
Yeah,
your photo,
yeah.
but it's
No,
amazing.
I didn't go.
Oh, you didn't go to that?
I'm not a real photographer.
Yeah, you're not allowed.
That's what they
I
told
think
me.
Carlson shot it from the crowd. Was he there?
Yeah,
Kyle? He
yeah.
probably
Yeah,
shot from
maybe,
the crowd.
yeah. Maybe, yeah.
Yeah, quick one.
Yeah. It's epic though.
Yeah, they. I would like to. I mean, obviously, LA 28. I think I could swing that.
Yeah.
Maybe.
It's right down the street.
Maybe. Yeah. So
That's the Olympic story.
yeah. Congrats.
Thank you.
What's so it was crazy. Couple days afterwards. Now that you're home, is there like Wheaties calling you or anything like that?
Nah,
like, is
no,
there
nothing.
been any?
No, everyone thinks your life like changes to
Yeah.
some craziness, and no, it hasn't. I mean, I get little opportunities here and there, and that's been awesome. But for me, I want to be home. Like I moved to San Diego to be here and enjoy it, and I've been gone the whole time. So now I'm like, cool, I get to be home. I built up another bike. Just gonna enjoy being
Back
home
to
and
OB.
riding. Nah, we've been at the dirt park.
The dirt park. Yeah.
You got your free coaster bike?
Yeah, I
Too?
built that up.
You've been riding it at all?
Nah.
No,
I
You just
haven't.
built it up.
Not yet.
Well, now, yeah, because you got family in town. Then after that, you're
Mhm.
pretty free.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. So
It's just bikes, San Diego.
How is
That's a
how
huge
is it
reward.
first? I just searched your name. It's first.
Because it's their only other video part.
That was my first ever.
That's what while we were making integration, we are like, wow, Perris' only other video part is this one.
Well, you had some splits with Angie.
Yeah, we did like
Yeah,
some
but it was, like,
local,
kinda-
but
Like 3 days you filmed for
Yeah.
those
yeah,
things.
I've
Yeah.
never like gone in like how I did on integration.
Okay, so
This was just one of my friends
we're
that I
gonna-
grew up with.
10 years ago, Reno.
Yeah. Man, this is embarrassing.
I am sorry.
Not really. It's
But-
10 years
but
ago. Let's just think of like the level you were on. Like,
I remember seeing this and being like, "Holy shit, she fucking kills it!" Literally, like I probably posted. We had to post something
Yeah.
about this on Ride,
Yeah.
like. And you were like the Smith grind.
No.
Oh my god!
No hub guards.
iPod in your backpack. Already on Team USA there, too. I saw that.
I just saw that.
In Paris in space.
Woo. Oh, man.
Just like from the street side, like it was cool to see this stuff because there was only really Nina that was like.
Nah, just that hip, too. It's like,
yeah,
whoa, who's this?
Yeah.
10 years ago, this is like unheard of to see a girl ride like this. Really? Like,
it was.
I didn't know at this time. I didn't know any other girls that rode.
Yeah.
Like I just rode with my brother and all of our friends.
So that good segue. How did you actually get into riding? It was just your brother that started riding, and then
my brother raced.
Is he older or younger?
Yeah, he's older.
Okay.
And then when we moved to Nevada when I was 3, and the neighborhood we moved into is just full of boys too.
Mm-hmm.
So I was just keeping up with all of them. They all rode. We would build jumps and
imagine seeing that. You know, the pink sweater, like it's snow on the on the ramps.
We used to
in the
go
background.
shovel. We would just go shovel a portion of the skate park that we wanted to ride.
There you go. You hit rails way 10 years ago.
Yeah, a little skate park rail.
Yeah, this is actually 10 years ago then, huh?
Mm-hmm. You've been shredding. But there's a story that Perris will tell where riding wasn't, you didn't ride this whole time. Perris rode back then there was no riding. It was done.
Yeah, I started fighting Muay Thai.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. UFC, that's what I was going to.
I started fighting Muay Thai.
I remember seeing this.
And, working in the OR.
I remember seeing this a little bit on Instagram. I was like, oh shit, she's fighting now? So
yeah, I always when I was little, sick. I rode for fun. Like I always wanted to travel the world and ride my bike and like do it professionally, but it was unheard of. It wasn't a thing. And then I remember being in high school and my friend Crew showed me Angie for the first time and Nina and was like, yo, these girls rip. And I was like, who are they? And then that's when they were doing Yazine at the time.
Okay, yeah.
So then I get connected with them and I get like
there you go. It just YouTube knew what we were talking about. Did Angie's, this is probably what you watched. This is the chick flick. This is Natalie Wade, Morgan Wade's wife. They did a full women's DVD.
Yeah, my friend Crew showed me Angie's part in this.
Yeah, thank you, YouTube algorithm. And then so you saw Nina and Angie ride for the first time.
Yeah, and then they hit me up and like about Yazine, and I had like a little interview in there. I thought it was the coolest thing ever. Like, and then they gave me the front photo cover of Yazine.
Yeah.
And I was like, what the heck? Like, this is so cool. And then, just kept in touch with them and Angie and I would just go on like random trips. Like we'd meet in Colorado and go ride for the week, or like, it was very random and I wasn't riding like the whole time. And then X Games would do like a demo and then they'd hit me up. And I remember the first one was in Austin. There was only 4 of us and I was one of the 4. And it was Danny Windenhausen, Nina and Angie, and then myself. And so that was cool. So a week before that, I'd pick up my bike and I'd like ride a little bit. But I wasn't like riding because it wasn't a thing to make a career out of it, as a woman at that time. And then once the Olympic stuff, Angie was like, hey, the Olympics is going to happen. Like they're going to have freestyle in there and Catfish. I remember he always would hit me up and be like, we need someone with your style of riding at these events, at these FEES events, please come. And then Angie's like, I'm moving to San Diego and I'm done with college. Like, come live with us, whatever. And at this time I was working at the hospital and fighting Muay Thai and stuff. And I was like, I could try it. Like, it won't hurt. So I asked my stepdad at the time. I was like, hey, can you sponsor me to go to Montpellier, the first contest? Like, because I guess BMX is going to be in the Olympics and like this could be my way to have a professional career. And he was like, sure. We made it like a little family trip. And then just before that, I drove my stuff down to San Diego, put it in a storage, met up with Angie here, and we flew to Europe. And we didn't have a house here or anything. We just put our stuff in storage and went. And at that event, I made finals. I think I qualified 5th. And then during practice, I was trying this transfer and I crashed and bulged a disc in my back. So I couldn't ride finals.
Oh.
And then I met Jamie and Ryan there, and they were like,
Bestwick?
Jamie Staff from USA Cycling.
Okay. All right.
And they were like, who are you, basically? Like, where'd you, like, I just came out of nowhere and qualified fifth. Like,
working night shifts in the hospital.
Who are you?
Yeah.
Where did you get that pink sweater?
Yeah, exactly. Where'd that sweater and yoga pants come from? And then they helped me like rehab my back, and Angie and I came back and we found a house in a couple of days. And that's where my first like introduction to, you have to put in the work, because I had to rehab my back that whole year. So it was like, you're putting in the work every day. And that's where I brought like the discipline that I learned in Muay Thai. And like, I brought a lot of that stuff and just brought it to BMX, and it's worked for me. And yeah.
Kind of glanced over the Muay Thai stuff.
Yeah.
How do you get into that? I remember you posted actual fights, like fight cards. I don't know if I ever saw footage or something like that, but you were semi-professional or something, amateur or
but
something.
Like the very like amateur that you could think, like just getting like your toes wet into fights, like nothing like insane. Had I continued on, I would have wanted to go to that next level, but yeah, it was one of my friends opened up his own gym, like a Muay Thai gym, and I was like, oh, I want to try. So I would just go, and like it was a bunch of my friends I grew up with, like that would go and train. So the classes were fun, and I liked learning that stuff. Like I always wanted to like learn how to fight and stuff anyways. And yeah, I just kept going, and then watched my friend who was the coach. He went through a fight, and like I was there through the whole thing, like just watching his like weight cut, and like watching the grueling hours, and like watching your body go from whatever it is to then you cut weight and then you fight. Like the whole process of it was so cool to me. So I asked him, I said, hey, can I fight? Like, can you? And he's like, if you show up, just keep showing up. And if I think that you're ready, then I'll book you a fight. So I was like, all right. So I showed up every single day, stayed late, like worked with the people who were fighting, like in a fight camp, and like just put in the hours. And then one day he was like, hey, I have a fight booked for you in a couple months. And I was like,
oh shit.
What? So yeah, I went to go fight. A couple months later, the ring collapsed in Reno. Like we were at the Atlantis, and
took down the house.
It just like collapsed on one side. So the rest of the fights were canceled. So my fight was canceled for a couple months later. And then, yeah, I had my first fight in Tahoe and won the decision. The girl I fought she is a savage. She's so cool though. Like, but yeah. And then
you won though.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. It was the craziest feeling in the world, where you're just in one corner, a girl's in the other corner, you're by yourself. There's spotlights on you. There's people cheering. You're just like in this cage, and there's people just like cheering, like waiting to see you rip each other's heads off. And you're like, and then you meet in the middle, and then you swing, and you're like, oh crap. All right, we're in a fist fight. Like we're doing this. Yeah. And it was.
And it was a Muay Thai fight. And I feel like I may know the answer, but what is Muay Thai? Well, is it kickboxing essentially?
Yeah, so those were like kickboxing. With Muay Thai, you can like clinch and like.
Okay.
But these were more like.
But not on the ground.
Yeah, no, you don't go to the ground.
Yeah, always standing. Okay.
Like the MMA is like the ground stuff.
Okay. All right. And how many fights did you have overall?
I only had that one, and then I did a few smokers, which is like the headgear, just like at a gym or whatever. And then I was on the Colt trip in San Diego. That was my first time, and it was a week before my fight camp.
So there is some overlap with riding. So you are like
I was like kind of in there, kind of not. Like I would get hit up, like Angie.
I would get hit, and then I would get hit up.
Yeah, I'd get hit, and then someone would hit me up. And yeah, we came out here to film like a little Colt video, and I crashed at OB.
Yeah,
tore my meniscus, and then I had to have surgery and pull out of my next fight because I was supposed to fight like 2 weeks later.
Yeah.
And yeah, tore my meniscus here, went home, tried to train on it still. And then they were like, no, you should just get surgery. Cause then I wanted to go to Japan for the first World Cup that I wanted to compete in, but I had to miss Japan. And that's when I went to Montpellier.
Okay. And then so after Montpellier, USA Cycling comes in, and how do they end up like, how does the support work? Does it they're sponsoring you, monetary support, stuff you can live off of essentially?
No, not at that time. So I had just worked so much overtime in the hospital. Like I was taking all of the call because I knew I wanted to move to San Diego and I didn't know what that looked like. So I saved up a bunch of money just to where like I could come here and pay rent. And then obviously at the time rent was a lot cheaper.
Yeah.
And kind of survive and figure it out. And then Nikita's, I think, cousin has like some company where they would do like catering and stuff. So I went and like worked for them randomly and would make a couple bucks.
Side hustle.
And yeah, so it was I wasn't getting funded by them, but I was getting the support of using sports medicine and being able to rehab my back, like work with one of the athletic trainers there, and she rehabbed my
And that was
back.
down in Chula Vista.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, so they gave me access there. And then that's when I also gained a strength coach as well. And then after that, when I won, because my first event back, like World Cup wise, was China. We did World Cup and then World Championships. And then that's the year that I won Worlds.
And what year is that?
2018.
2018. Okay. Yeah.
So that was
6 years
pretty
ago.
much your first injury-free contest back.
Yeah.
And you won it.
Yeah.
And
Well,
then
we had World Cup the weekend before, and I think I got like 4th or something. And then Worlds and
Vans Pro Cup's going on at the same time though, right when everything started for you.
Oh yeah.
yeah, I
It's a
rode.
whole other.
That's like that was like a career start in the core of BMX. Everyone
Yeah,
seeing
so-
you because like the fees and all that stuff. No one really still knew what was going on with
Yeah.
it. You know, like
Yeah.
if you really weren't like I was even messing
was-
with it and I didn't get it.
There was
Yeah.
a battle of what is BMX in the Olympics even at
Yeah,
that
because
point.
Oh, yeah.
weren't
Yeah.
they supposed to be the
There was
The
between
There
Vans
was
the two.
stuff?
pitches, yeah. There was
It was
pitches of
between the two.
FIS,
Yeah.
FIS and Pro Cup essentially, like what style, what represents BMX, and that's a whole other subject,
Yeah.
honestly. But
But yeah, you
So-
were doing the Vans Pro Cup too.
Yeah, so that was right when I started to like begin to ride again, because I remember I competed because they did a demo for women the year before that, I think, but it only took that one demo to then get women a proper class, like
Yeah.
a proper
Yeah.
competition. So that was huge, and I remember competing at the first one. I was still a little injured, but it was like that was my first event back, the one in Huntington.
Cool.
So that was like get your toes wet again with competing, and then just have fun. Like those events they're my favorite events. Those events were so
We miss
fun.
them.
Oh my gosh, I miss them.
Vans
so
did that
much.
post recently about the Pro Cup, and I was like, you can't
No,
post this
it's such
shit
a
again, and
tease.
and be like without the idea of like, are you working on
Yeah.
something or are you not? I mean, maybe they are, but I
It
don't.
would be a dream come
Yeah.
true.
So,
And then at that point, you're doing
yeah,
it.
thank you.
Yeah, I mean then it was just full on. Like we had the Pro Cups, we had the World Cups. Like it was the travel was just nonstop.
Yeah.
But it was so cool. You're going to all these amazing countries. I was living, and I still am, like living this childhood dream of like getting to travel the world and ride my bike.
Yeah.
And that's all I've ever like wanted to do. And yeah, to be living it every day, I'm just even still, I'm like, holy crap.
And that's kind of full circle though, where I was talking about how the Olympics supported you because
Mhm.
at this point you don't have any sponsors.
No, so at that time when I won Worlds, that's when I got onto the national team.
Yeah.
So that's when I was on the stat, like you're on the level to where you can have an income.
Isn't there actual levels like?
Yeah, gold, silver, bronze.
Okay. Yeah, it makes sense.
hmm So I was able to have an income now.
Okay.
And then just
So they're like your first sponsor.
Yeah.
You're like
paid sponsor. Like
Yeah.
Colt was hooking me up. Like I was on Colt and stuff, and like Odyssey would send me stuff too.
Mm.
Like ever since I was little, like I always rode Odyssey parts. And then during the Olympic stuff, like my bike, obviously like we lightened it up and all of that, but now it's back to Odyssey parts and just how I grew up riding, really.
Yeah. No tie
Um,
spokes. And stuff
I have
like-
tie spokes, and that's the only tie thing I
Oh,
have.
yeah. Okay.
But
Of course, to say the one thing that you
I know,
have.
sorry. Sorry to let you down.
When you are so gold, silver, bronze from them, I've heard that the pay is obviously nice, but the perks outside of that is like there's like almost like there's the travel budget. They help cover travel, but they also help cover the PT and the strength stuff. And do they help with a visualization coach? And or is that in your, you know, like do you have a budget to kind of like health and wellness type thing?
Well, they have like all of these people, I think, within their network, so that you can like reach out to them and like you can get a psychologist, you can get a therapist, like you can do all this sort of things with them, strength coach, like nutritionist. But I went outside of it because I didn't really know if they offered the like,
exactly what you were looking for.
Yeah. So I took it upon myself to seek these people out and hire them myself. So I pay out of pocket my nutritionist per month, the meditation coach, the sports psychologist I have through them. But yeah, they have, and I can still go to the center and do PT stuff. Like, so that whole,
you mean like today you can?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Like
that's what I was going to get at. Cause it was like for a while here, it was like because of that Olympic Center. And then there was the course down there. It's now dilapidated. I think COVID kind of messed up that whole plan.
It's still there.
Yeah.
But there's,
in theory.
Yeah.
Yeah. In skeleton form. Yeah.
Exactly.
It was ghetto when they moved it here, and then like who wants to go ride in the blazing hot when you have to like have a medic watching you? And you know, it's so weird.
Yeah, I think, and then you know, Gary told me the process for him to go ride it, and I was like, yeah, I don't think
it was just challenging, and at the time, Angie and Chelsea were the only ones living here, I think, to ride it, and they rode it all the time, like they took great advantage of it. Yeah. As a team, we only came out once for it, and then like Nick built his facility. Justin was in Raleigh riding dares every day. Like I had moved, and at that time I was riding dares every day.
He wasn't riding dares.
Well,
that'd be crazy.
Oh, true. Riding dares and ramps every day.
And then so yeah, is that why does you moved to Raleigh? And that was just the hub?
Well, because at the time they didn't have the course. That wasn't built in Chula Vista. So I was waiting kind of around for that. And then they're like, hey, we're not going to have anything built. Like maybe. So I was like, well, I'm just going to move and submerge myself in this world.
Yeah.
So that's what I did. And then COVID hit, and then I moved slowly, I just moved to Wilmington because where
Nyquist lives.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because COVID was so crazy in that place.
What do you mean?
Just like it was so strict, and like, I mean, we were all trying to be safe. It was COVID. You didn't know, like, and it just became like we had our like quarantine crew, but then I like wanted to ride other stuff, and then like just wanting to ride like different things, and then I just slowly distanced myself and went to Wilmington.
Okay.
And then at that point, it's like you, Nyquist, Hannah, Darden.
Mm-hmm. But mostly just me, Ryan, and Hannah riding day in and day out together.
At his place? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Is there much else to ride? There's that other wood park, but it's like a little bit far or something?
It's like 2 hours, the Greenville one.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then there's
the Cary
two
one.
other... Huh?
The Cary.
Oh, Cary, yeah.
I think that's what I was thinking, the indoor bowl.
No, indoor
bowl is right by our house.
Oh,
yeah.
okay. All right.
Yeah.
So there's more.
That place was so fun.
Yeah.
But that was, Ryan had the key. So it was when Ryan could go. If it was up to me, I would ride that thing every night, every day. So that was like a special treat, like when we got to ride that.
What is it?
It's Eastern Skate Supply, I think. It's their...
Like a skate distro.
Yeah.
Just have it inside.
All right.
Super cool.
Yeah. I don't know. I guess moving around a bunch and all that stuff. I feel like maybe when everybody moved to, I don't know. This is my perception of it, because like Nikita was out here, Angie was out here, you were out here. I'm probably blanking on somebody else, but then everybody moved to Durs's park.
When you're trying to get into those scenes, you have to follow the facilities.
Yeah, you have to.
Yeah.
That's how Woodward used to be in Greenville. Like there's always that place.
But that's what I mean is that from my perception, I was like, oh, they want to all go learn tricks.
Yes,
that's what in my head. I was like, they don't. There's a lot of stuff to ride out here, and you can ride quarters and stuff like that. But there's no foam pit. Yeah. There's no resi. There's nothing like that.
Facility. That's why all these little random meccas will pop up, because there's that facility. That's like the heart of it, where everyone's like, this is a huge advantage. You know, like some people can do it without it, but a lot of people love that facility, and that's how they're gonna. If you have a resi and a foam pit every day, that's a big advantage going into contest.
And like there's quarter foam. There's
yes, like
quarter resi. There's everything that you need.
Yeah.
And at
that's
that
why a lot
time,
of people move to San Diego and they move right out because they're like, no, we're for this shit. You know, there's no training facility here. There never has been.
No,
there's been one airbag and it's garbage. And now there's another airbag and it has a 5-foot spine lip to it.
But it's gonna, hopefully with this new build, it'll be.
Hopefully.
It's going to be nice.
Is there a design out there?
I don't know. I haven't seen. I haven't talked to Gary yet. But
what was the first airbag?
The first airbag was at Claremont. It's just that flat bag where you have to drop in. And that thing was really, really fun.
I mean, this is in the last year.
This is in the last year. And that was amazing. When I was like, we were so stoked on that. And then the lip got cut like 1.5 feet. So it's like, you can only go like 4 feet in the air now.
Yeah.
It turned into like a scooter airbag.
Yeah.
so then there's no airbag at that point because essentially it's nothing but a fly out that you have to like climb out of. And then I donated the one to Claremont, but there was nowhere to put it. So Gary, it was awesome where he has it in a cool spot, but it's still like a little scooter fly out because there's no lip for it. It's a little
just on a quick little spine.
Yeah, it's just fun little fly out, but it's not like you're not going to get down in the Olympics.
Yeah.
Like it's not going to help anything for the Olympics. It might just screw you up.
And even at that time, like think about how many people would come in for the week, like come to Daniel's facility and ride. Like we would have the whole deck was full of people from different countries. So at the time that was like the place to be. Like for that world, like Brandon was there. He bought a house there. Like Nikita was always there. Marin was always there. Like Brandon Lupos.
Oh, really?
He brought it. Yeah, I forgot.
He was there and just like everyone. Kieran would come into town. Like there's just random people who would come into town and be there for a week. And it's like the deck would just be full. It was so fun. So fun. And then obviously COVID and travel and just everything gets shut down just changed everything. But yeah, in the time that was the place to be. So I was like, well, it's too easy of a decision. Like might as well just go over there. And then San Diego will always be here. And now I'm back.
And then so all this stuff transpires. Obviously Tokyo, 4th place. We kind of touched on COVID, weird phase. 2021 was the weird phase. And then I feel like integration is probably the next step, like you're riding whatever, you're in Wilmington at this point, and then Dennis hits you up about filming a video part, or how does that come about?
No, it was more, Colin hit me up at first in Mapstone and said, would you be down to do something with Perris? And I was like, hell yeah. Yeah,
it was kind of the same thing for me. Like, would you be down? And I was like, what? You want me to film? Yeah. Like, I'm down. Like, this is a dream, especially like when I found out that it was going to be with Dennis, I was like, oh, heck yeah. Like, I'm 100% down.
So this is the Colin's brainchild then. Colin McKay.
No, I mean, the idea was, I think, through Vans, like they want me to do something with Perris, like female male thing to like help bring females into the male, like make it something similar. So
yeah, because I think Surf or someone had done something similar where it was because it with the part came like the clothes and it was like we're integrate, like we were, I guess the name came from that, but we were like working on a line together where it's like, how do we have our ideas and stuff like come together? And then you came up with the idea for the video. Yeah, the video, and then just I was like, how can we make cool parts that don't drag out? The year long. Let's go on like 4 or 5 trips, park, street, dirt, basically like from Range of Motion. It's kind of just like Range of Motion, but put to
bike treads whirring.
What? Oh,
turn off. Thanks.
So yeah, it's pretty much me and Perris just came together. What can we do to have the most fun to promote our line?
So all Range of Motion
we
was
brought
the
friends on every trip.
Ride video where it's like basically park, street, dirt. You want to make sure we're including everything and then include some friends and stuff like that.
Exactly. So
Shout out to Pat.
Yeah.
God damn it.
Yeah, so, we brought different friends on every trip, which was awesome.
It was so fun.
Yeah, it was sick. We did Vegas, which was like ditch, parks, street, kind of like the mix one, and then Philly was straight up street and FDR, street and one big DIY park, and then Oregon.
Yeah.
Concrete.
Oh my gosh.
Probably the best trip.
Yeah.
They're all sick, but that one the Oregon trips are just epic.
I like because some of my friends used to do that drive and like go and ride when I was younger. And I was like, oh my gosh, I want to do that trip one day. And then for the first time I got to do it with them on a Vans trip. I was like,
it was so good.
It was crazy. Like little kid me. And I mean, even me then was like freaking out. I'm like, this is so insane. I get to ride all these amazing parks and like drive the Oregon coast, but I'm on a Vans trip, like with these people, like so cool.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that was scary.
That
is crazy. The
sickest crew than having Colin navigate the ship, you know.
Fuck it.
Just a dream team.
And that was the start of it all.
That was the first clip.
That was the first clip.
First clip, first day, probably.
So I feel like
and this was a huge learning process for her because obviously her transition skills, like she does her own thing. She knows what she's doing.
Yeah.
But street, she hasn't done it enough. So she kind of like didn't really know where her lane was. So she was like learning while, you know, like this opened it up. I was like, your next video part's going to be so much crazier because you learned so much about you're riding in the streets and ditches and everything.
So much of it was just all learning, like trusting you guys. And like, they would say, I have something that I'm like, okay, I must.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. They're not going to lie to me.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I hope not.
I mean, I feel like anybody, you know, pretend Dennis isn't here, quintessential video part rider, you know, last 5 years produce a lot of wild shit. And they're like, all right, film a video part with Dennis.
Yeah, imagine that.
Yeah, you have to be like, fuck me. Like,
I mean, I was excited because I knew that like his parts were so insane and everything he was doing, it was just like full commitment. So I was excited to like see and like learn his process and to have like one of the best guiding you. Like it doesn't get much better than that. Like and then having Colin and Dan and like us four, like, cause we were the four constant, like there weren't any other people that I'd rather go through that with because we all learned each other so well. And it was like, they know this world so well. And it's for me, I'm learning, but I'm learning from the best. Like I'm learning from people who like, this is their normal thing.
That's cool. Yeah. It's a good outlet. I feel like I would be like,
I was so excited.
I could never live up to this expectation being alone, you know, like one of those, I would have this like air of doubt in my head.
It made me want to push myself more. It made me like by the end, like going to the spot where we both jumped over that rail thing, like in the beginning of the part, we ride so many different things and then like to be able to get a clip on the same spot together, like that was cool where you're up there and you're like, all right, you got my back, boom. Like, yeah, that's
sick.
Yeah. There's a lot of epic memories and
I'm sure there's so many clips in here from the beginning that you'd be like, I would never, ever do that. And then by the end, you're like, yeah, I got this.
Coos Bay. Yeah. That was one where I was like, you guys are crazy. Like in the beginning.
That one, no, like you have to go to, like, there's only been probably less than 10 dudes to ever have gone over that thing because the pump and everything. Like I've seen some of the sickest riders back out of that or fall out of the top.
I would never do that.
The footage will never give that thing justice. It looks like, oh yeah, let's go do it. But I've seen so many amazing dudes that shred parks not do that.
Yeah.
But the phases on the way that helped. Like him and Chris had a plan, like a little plan of like phasing me to it, and then we got to it.
I think only 4 people have ever jumped that thing.
I've been to that. That's insane.
I think there's only 4 or 5 guys who've ever jumped it.
Yeah.
So many badass street riders I've seen be like, hell no.
Yeah.
That's another
one. I don't need that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And by this time, I was finding things that
this was the last trip, and by this it was like she knows what she wants, which she's looking for. Like if it would have kept going and she didn't get hurt, like your next video part's gonna, you know, it's right around the corner.
I love the fist of glory. It's so sick.
Because it was like, it was another thing too where I had to like figure that out. Like I really had to see, okay, there's this weird wire right here, like and I watched him, like he gets down on the ground, like his process is so like, you know, everything, like when you're approaching it, like you're for sure. So like I was like, okay, well I got up there and I was like looking around in this wire, and like he taught me the whole start with your opposite foot, and then you just like little things, and you slowly start to adapt that.
And also like little things I could show you that would help. Like look at that wire and see how high it is off the ground. Like you've dropped that far. This just looks way crazier. Little things like that can help you. You know, that's what I'm always doing is like trying to find like
rationalizing it.
Yeah. Like equations that break it down to make sense, you know, because if you just look at something, you could be like, oh, yeah. But then you just kind of start looking at like why you could do it. Usually if you're looking at something, you could do it if you break it down like that. And it comes down to being calm and being like, I got this. And then it's easy. But if you're scared shitless, it's a huck, and that's.
Yeah. So it's cool. It's
that's
so
how you get
cool
hurt.
to learn. Yeah.
Trying to toboggan something you don't want to toboggan.
To
and then you fall in the rolling because you're pissed off because you're not doing the trick. You know, that's weird how it works like that. Yeah. All the crazy shit you did. And
wait, you fell on the rolling. The metal plate was not what you were going off of.
I fell going.
She fell coming at it on the sketchy run.
I looped out. I pulled up too much and I looped. And I went to go run and I just, bloop, bye.
Yeah, it was crazy. It was like, it was her a huge shitty learning lesson. Because she was really mad at herself, you know?
Yeah. I was pissed that I wasn't doing it.
Yeah.
But
and then, I mean, I guess we talked about those X Games comments. How are the comments on this video? Or did you never even look?
I didn't read the comments on it.
I don't know.
I mean, it came out when I was like,
but I mean, the reception had to be great.
Yeah,
people, was amazing.
Yeah, people like were so hyped on it. And even this, like, this is what I love to do. Like I loved, even as a kid, like I loved this stuff. So it was just, it felt so natural. It felt like, and for people to be so hyped on it and to love seeing that, like me riding this stuff. And yeah, it was cool. Like that was such a different outcome then.
Shout out to Colin McKay and Andrew Mapstone for helping us put this one together because this was
it was a dream project.
It was a dream project.
And I think, I mean, I'd have to look, but I mean, it was close to getting Nora top 5.
Oh, really?
It was cool that it was like,
right there.
It was right there. Yeah. It was like 6, you know, it was top 5 votes are the nominees and it was like 6th or 7th.
Oh, wow.
So, and I think it was
Foley killed it with the whole thing.
And I think it was you and Killian Roth, you know, really? Like it was like a gnarly, it was like it was his, the one that we hosted that got tagged for dangerous activity. Checked. Yeah. So it was you and Killian, which is like, and it's like, dude, it's always so hard because I'm counting the votes and I'm like, oh, I'd be so sick if Perris was in there. And I was like, Killian deserves to be in there. Like, what the fuck?
Maybe next year.
Yeah, is next year?
Maybe we'll see.
I like it. So integration. Obviously, I think this
that leads into the whole knee to the big long 8 months.
I owe you a Nora Cup, by the way. You're not allowed to leave without getting that. That's in the garage. Okay. So congrats on winning Nora Cup again. This is the last 2 years in a row. You actually the
female or dig rider of the year.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Oh yeah,
I just recently I got to open the Dig magazine and like read it and like that is wild. That's something I never expected any of this, but it's just so cool. Like BMX is like voting for me. I don't know. It's just such a cool thing. Like,
to be recognized and not
by
like
your
on
peers
any.
Like, and the Olympic stuff, all this stuff, all the medals, all that stuff aside, like, it's BMX. Like we're riding our bikes and to be recognized like by a community who doesn't care about any of those other things. Like it's really cool. Like it's very special.
What was I going to say? I had something.
I don't know.
Post-Olympics. So we are now, what, 2 months removed from the Olympics?
Mm-hmm.
What's that? You mentioned it at a point. You said that post-Olympic, like depression.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that's the word you used or not. But
it's. I mean, for me, it was pre. I felt it even in like leading up to Perris. Like I just with all the travel and all the stuff. Like I felt it leading up to, but like I said, my mindset was just completely different, and I just stayed focused on like myself and my runs and not putting an expectation. But yeah, with that, such a high comes the low. Mm-hmm. And I'm still going through it, but like it obviously gets better, and I've addressed it. I have a sports psychologist that I talk about stuff with, and it's just the whole life is so fast, and then you come to a halt, and it's like, okay, now what?
That's kind of what I envision it as being super noisy. And then all of a sudden you're in a really quiet room.
Yeah.
And you have like nothing but your thoughts afterwards. And it's probably, what could I have done? What could I have changed? What do I do with my life? What should I do? You know, like what is my purpose? Can I make it another 4 years to be competitive in 28 and all this stuff? Like I don't know. It seems weird.
Yeah, it's definitely weird. But I mean, for me, now I'm like getting back into routine. Like I'm just making sure I do my workouts and like getting out of that and then enjoying just life. And you put so much on hold. You put so much on not necessarily on the back burner, but like you're prioritizing this thing for so long that so many other things kind of have to be on pause, or you're just like not giving as much like energy to. And now I have more time. I have more energy to put into things and to put into more like your relationships and just friendships and just everything, and like being around people, enjoying life really, and like enjoying the freedom of not having like this schedule. And like I'm such a routine person, so I check boxes. Like I want to get this stuff done, and now it's like, cool, let's go ride bikes today. It doesn't matter what bike, but just go ride a bike or go, like that's where I'm at right now, where I'm
go
just
have
like,
some fun.
Just have fun. Yeah.
So you're still regimented, but do you have like, you said it was like 2 hours of strength training, 2 hours of visualization. Do you still have those elements in your schedule, or is it?
I'll still I'll do my workout, however long that takes. And I meditate every morning. Like that whole, like my morning routine stays the same.
It's locked in.
Yeah. That's just something that for me, I enjoy. Like I enjoy starting my day off the way I start my day, and very slow and peaceful, and then get into the day.
Pet the dog?
Oh yeah. Well, she sleeps in a little bit, and then she'll come.
When will like focus on the next Olympics start? Will you have like 2 years of like, who cares? Or do you have to like start going to contests now?
For me, I'm not going to do there's a World Cup in Shanghai in October. Oh, October is like tomorrow. So in October.
There's already a World Cup.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and then there's World Championships in December. And I don't think I'm going to do either of those. I want to be home. I just want to enjoy life, and then get back into the contest stuff. Like, I don't know. I haven't really thought that far ahead, honestly. I don't know
it's like
what
a video part of your caliber will probably take a year to make it, if you wanted to do that.
Yeah.
Another video part you're stoked on. So that's like a year if you wanted to do that. And then there's whatever else you want to do. If you want to just go on trips and go on team trips, like those 4 years is just crunches up quick.
Yeah. But honestly, like, and there hasn't been much talk of like 2028 and what goes into that just yet. So right now I'm just riding the wave. Nice. Just when things come up, when the talk of 2028 comes, then I'll have those conversations at that time. But for now, I want to ride. I want to fall back in love, like with just riding, and maybe work on another part.
Sick.
So. I like that. And USA obviously still supports you, like as you're on that tier or whatever. So eventually you'll start having to go to events again.
Yeah, I think so.
But you get some grace period, which is nice.
Yeah.
Coach Quist, I've noticed. I was like, when we were talking about him, I'm like, oh, you should have brought him out and had him.
Just had him right here.
Yeah, like Perris, do more tricks. No,
faster.
Anything else we're missing? That's these days. Haro stuff maybe in the works. Odyssey.
Yeah, I mean, there's Odyssey, Haro, Vans, Source. You got America. You got a stacked list of sponsors.
Yeah.
You're sponsored by America.
By America.
Pretty much. Really. Legitimately, not pretty much. So you got stuff to do for everyone, I'm sure. Like, or fun things to do, like exactly. Odyssey trips, Vans trips, Haro stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's definitely something I want to do. Is a lot. They've been so patient and so like just graceful with me during these 8 years, really, and especially the last 4, and especially the last year. So to be able to like give back to them is something that I want to do.
And it's mutually beneficial. You get to fall in love with bike riding again and not necessarily compete and runs and all that stuff. So
just have fun riding and going on trips and
cool.
That's how you fall in love with riding. Trips and new stuff with different people.
Friends and laughter and tricks.
The contest stuff's cool, but it's more regimented,
Yeah. I'm ready for, I mean, I love it all. I love the competitiveness. I love the contest stuff. I love those courses, but yeah, just, I wish I can do it all. But right now I'm like, okay, we just went through a pretty heavy year.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean,
let's
you
just
finished
enjoy.
your video part straight into the injury, into having to get this done. Like, you did do it all. It was just a stressful way to do it all.
Yeah, exactly.
It didn't line up perfectly.
Yeah.
Well, it did line up perfectly to get healthy, but it was
It was a grind.
a little bit crazy there for a second, time wise.
Well,
congrats.
Let me go get you a Nora Cup too
right.
before we officially call it out.
Cool.
So you did that.
That Nora
we didn't
Cup.
talk about Hastings too. I feel like we should talk about Hastings because you were a team captain, which I think was like huge.
Another thing,
yeah. And then you had a team.
You've already
captain.
done something cool since the Olympics, like like something you wouldn't have done.
Yeah.
I feel like
that was really cool because that like gave me the opportunity to pick up my bike and just be in that environment and like. Because I've seen the clips. I haven't been in person yet until this year. And it is just rumbling in there. But once you're in there, it's like a completely different thing. Like you just feel the rumble. You feel the energy from the crowd. Like that was probably one of the most fun events that I've been to in such a long time. Like
I say it literally is the best event in BMX.
It is
like
so fun.
It's just a cool, like laid back, also serious, but mostly laid back.
Practice all day.
Yeah, practice all day.
Like
whatever
no
you
one
want.
cares if you win. Like you're riding and you're putting BMX out there and you're just doing what you like to do.
Yeah.
That's the coolest thing is like do you, and that's all that matters.
Yeah.
Just have fun.
How do you choose a team?
I mean, it was so new to me. I tried to get Dennis. He said no.
sorry.
If it makes you feel any better, he also said no to somewhere between 5 and 3 other people.
I know.
So depending on who you ask, it was every team asked him or 4 teams asked him. So
a few did.
Just Perris.
Just Perris. It is the only one I said no to.
But then I just thought, I was like, because Linda, I wanted another girl on the team and I knew that there was the rail jam and I've seen her. She just is constantly putting in the work. Like she rides with Felix and that whole crew all the time. Like, and I was like, if there's one person who could do this rail, it's going to be Linda.
Yeah.
So I hit her up and she was like, oh my gosh, this like the rail jam. And I was like, yeah. And I was like, you have it. And she was down.
Yeah.
Like, so that was really cool because even there, she like thanked me for giving her that opportunity. And I'm like,
cool.
I knew that you could do it.
Yeah.
Like, so just the fact that you believed in yourself, because we all knew that you can do it and you got it done. Like that is so cool. And that unlocks so many spots for her for the future. And like,
beforehand, she looked like she had like seen a ghost. She was so worried.
She was so nervous.
But I heard people were like you could crook it or something. Yeah. Somebody was like,
crank arm it.
Crank arm it. Yeah. Because they were so confident she could do the double peg. You're like, yeah, do the double peg and then crank arm it. She was like, what? Like, what
her mind was just like, and I was like, just do whatever you want to do on it. Like, just be hyped on it. And she did it and made it just.
It was such a cool moment. Yeah. It was awesome to see.
So cool.
Like, just she was, especially because she was wearing the stress on her face.
Oh yeah, she didn't sleep the night before.
Wow.
She said her stomach. She was like, my stomach has been upset.
And it was one of the moments of the whole Battle of Hastings, which is insane because there's hundreds of moments at those things.
Yeah, it was super cool. And shout out to Spinner for awarding her too.
That was really cool.
That was super cool.
Yeah, he picked it as his favorite moment of the whole thing.
Yeah,
it's cool. You can pick a team like that where you're like, all right, I got these people because I want you to do this accomplishment. Or you could pick a team to try and win the whole thing. Yeah. But you could also pick it for each person to win their own like accomplishment. You know, I like that.
It was so cool. And then Corey, obviously high air. I was like, you're like, and with riding the park indoors, I was like, that's an easy thought. Like, and then Kieran.
That was a cool pick.
Yeah.
That's a cool team.
It was just so like,
because that kind of brought like Olympics to the core, you know, like this guy that not everyone gets to see because he's so busy with traveling the world.
Yeah, and that was one of the coolest things.
Destroying every contest.
Is he adapts so well and he has stylish tricks. He has
he's sick.
He is so sick, and I knew that he could do something crazy. So it was actually when we were in Shanghai when I was like, I know it's a little early, but would you be down? And he's like, oh yeah. Like down 100%.
Instantly.
And
cool.
So it was so cool because he's gone there before and he was on a team.
Yeah, he was on a team a couple of years ago
and
or something.
They won, I think, right?
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah. Or at least got top 3 or whatever. But Yeah, he was down. All of them were so down. So I was just like, this is easy. Like, they're so cool. And I enjoyed being around every single one of them. And
it's probably the most different team out of any of them.
yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I said it on the podcast.
A couple of girls, a fast and loose guy, and like an Olympic dude.
Yep.
Yeah. and seeing Corey grab Kieran and like celebrate with him for doing a 270 triple whip.
Yeah.
You know, like it was.
Battle Hastings really is like special in that sense.
Mm-hmm.
It was cool.
You know, so, it's like Corey Walsh and Kieran Riley were on the same team.
Mm-hmm.
And you guys planned on not making finals because Kieran was busy the next day.
Well, we just happened, I guess. But yeah, if you want to say we planned on it, then
no. But it was funny because it was like
it worked out perfect.
Yeah, you had to find a sub if you guys did make finals. So, but it was cool that he was there, and then he had to go do some fancy stuff or something.
Yeah,
but
it was cool that he still drove out. He left immediately after best trick and drove. I think a couple hours, and then to meet a person in a car to pick him up and drive him X amount of more hours. So I'm like, just him coming, he could have easily been like, no, my next day is insane.
Yeah.
But he came and
shout to Kieran. Dude.
Yeah, he seems like he gets it all in. He ain't taking no.
Yeah, no way.
No days off.
He's like, I mean, kind of in the same thing where it's like he has the Olympic stuff going on.
Silver medalist too.
But he's like, he's diversified.
Yeah.
You know, like he has other things going on, and the fucking triple flare.
Yeah.
And he does little projects, and he's just like an all-around
Instagram
dude.
posting, killing every session.
Yeah. So I'd like to see a Kieran video part.
My gosh. Yeah. I would love that.
It's pretty much just constantly happening on his Instagram daily.
Yeah, true.
He's like one of those guys where he's just doing it every day.
Yeah. But let me go get this cup real quick, and then we can wrap this thing up.
So. Woohoo.
All right.
There's your Nora Cup.
X Games silver, Olympic silver,
Nora Cup 2 years in a row.
A bunch of good results at qualifying contest and a healthy knee.
And here we are. Yeah.
Here we are. And a beautiful golden retriever.
Congrats, Perris. And engaged.
And engaged.
Damn.
Congratulations.
It's been a great year.
Yeah.
A lot of things to congratulate you about.
Thanks. Yeah.
So, and you did a podcast finally.
And I did the podcast. I forgot to mention, I wanted to mention this. You know that Bia was my first sponsor ever.
From the Bloom?
Yeah, but she used to run Magnolia BMX.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And that was like...
That was the first one.
She put me and Corey's sister, Amelia.
Corey Walsh's sister?
Yeah. Just crazy. Yeah. Such a crazy
She raced.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Huh.
Shout out to Beatrice Trang.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She with Magnolia BMX.
Yeah. All she does with the Bloom now these days, and Angie as well. So shout out to them as always. And congratulations on everything. Congrats on this. Hold on. I got to. We'll do the double.
Do the double.
The double photo. Let's see if I can time it with the. Oh, it's so. I didn't clean my lens.
Oh, it's all twisted.
Olympics is done. Time to ride whatever you want.
I got to clean my lens. This is way too shiny for me to not clean my lens on my phone.
This thing.
It looks a little dusty. It didn't smell bad. I did take a whiff of it. So
some leftover remnants in there.
There we go.
Nice.
You did the podcast.
I did it.
All right.
All right. Thank you,
everyone.
Yeah. Thank you, everyone.
Perris.
Thank you, Perris. Shout out to Haro, Odyssey, Vans, America, Source, Dales, Dennis,
Magnolia,
Budger,
my dog Branson, my other dog Curtis.
Yeah, your other
the
dog
cat
got my
Roo.
shirt dirty.
Cat Roo, yeah.
All you guys for listening. Peace.
All
right. Good
job, yeah.
Perris. That was awesome.
Thanks, guys. Hopefully I didn't.
No, you did great. You didn't seem nervous at all.
I was shaking at first. Couldn't drink coffee.
Palm sweaty.
Make me shake more.
Sweaty.
Yeah, the morning ones are hard with coffee because normally I drink coffee and go do something. So like, I'm just sitting there like.